Son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
I think Danielle Musselman might have been onto something yesterday when she told Coach Muss around lunchtime that, hey, you should start the Mitchell twins. It's their birthday today. Start them. Now, he kind of took that and was joking with it a little bit, but they were both fantastic like last night, including Mykal Mitchell, who put up his best performance, not just in SEC play this season, but his best performance overall. Welcome in. It's always good to do a Wednesday edition of the Morning Rush after a Razorback victory, 81-70, the final over Texas A&M. Sometimes people have beefs about how this team played the night before. Tommy, I don't think that's going to be a beef of anyone's this morning after that victory.
Had a block party last night. 13 blocks. Arkansas didn't turn the ball over down the stretch, and they were really, really good down the stretch at the free throw line last night for the Razorbacks. And I thought taking care of the ball in the last 4 minutes, Eric Musselman called a timeout. I don't think from that 4 minute, what was it, 4:13 or something, just above the 4 minute TV timeout, it was well placed to get you two breaks for your big guys. But Arkansas took care of the ball from that point on. They had turned it over way too many times in the middle of the second half that kept A&M in the ball game, kept them hanging around. And they finally closed the gate by taking care of the ball.
You had some lackadaisical passes from Anthony Black and Devontae Davis trying to break the press, which A&M turned into quick, easy points. A&M cut it to 4 with about 2 or so minutes to go, and then Arkansas, as Tommy said, really didn't turn the ball over, knocked down 9 of 12 free throws down the stretch, which is always important. It's not just about hitting them during the course of the game and knocking them down. Shot it way better from the free throw line in the first half than they did the second half, but that final stretch where they were able to hit 75% of their free throws was pretty good. Now, this was a win where you look good on offense, about 50% shooting. You did have those 18 turnovers that you've got to clean up, but really the fourth straight game that your offense has been really solid. And I know for Texas A&M entering last night, they only had one lone conference loss that was on the road at Lexington. Now they have 2. Tommy, they have not won in Fayetteville in nearly 40 years.
Yes, since joining the SEC, it's 9-1 Razorbacks, the edge at Bud Walton. I believe that's the right number 9, but I know it's 1. So I think they've only won all time in 100 years, like 15 times. So I mean, you go back a century, and you think about all those games over the course of time. That's a very low percentage that they've won. But yeah, you're right. In the recent decades, just one win.
Arkansas looked inspired last night. Give credit to Matt Townsend, their trainer, because there's a lot of guys that are banged up right now, and Coach Musselman gave him credit in the post-game press conference for getting some guys right. Give credit to the guys that are injured, that are getting their treatment. Anthony Black, Devo Davis, Ricky Council, Mykal Mitchell. We got to give these guys a lot of credit. They are banged up right now, and they're gutting through it. They didn't even know if Anthony Black was going to play last night. Apparently, he has a pretty bad knee contusion that's pretty severe. I know that kept one of Kentucky's players, and I'm forgetting his name, but he was out last night. So Arkansas, again, looked really, really good in certain segments of that game, and defensively you hold them to like 34-35% shooting. So not only did you bring it offensively tonight, you brought it defensively. And I know they gave up 24 offensive rebounds, which you've got to clean up, but a lot of that is attributed to, I think, A&M shooting, 34-35% for the game?
Let's see, A&M shot 34%.
Yep.
I think you already knew that. But, Arkansas did a good job. They made it tough inside. Now, the offensive rebounds, like you said, gave too many second chance points to A&M, but Arkansas got their share of them too last night. 24 A&M offensive rebounds last night. 24. That's something you got to clean up. Arkansas had 13, but Arkansas shot a lot better from the floor. You're not going to have very many offensive rebounds when you're shooting 50% from the floor.
And typically the Razorbacks do a better job keeping opponents off the glass. I think that's the most they've given up at any point this season. They're top 5 in the league when it comes to keeping their opponents off the glass. Last night, I think, was more of an anomaly than anything. And again, when you miss as many shots as A&M did, 30 in the paint last night, there's going to be those tips. There's going to be those putbacks. And Arkansas, again, had 13 blocks. Didn't force a lot of A&M turnovers, only 8 during the course of the game last night. But again, all you got to do is look at the field goal percentage for the Aggies, as you did for Baylor. Both teams back-to-back in Texas, one in Waco, one in College Station. They shoot 34% against the Razorbacks. And Muss really liked his defense. These guys are just working their tails off ball screens. If you watch the guards, they are just working really, really hard. And I heard Jimmy Dykes and Carl Ravitch talking about this last night. Devontae Davis could have played for Nolan Richardson. He could have played for Eddie Sutton because of how much effort he exerts on defense each and every night.
Now, he's been playing great lately, and we've talked about the course of his season, the ups and the downs, and I think he's, 9 of 10. I was reading through the notes early this morning. 9 of 10 games he's scored in double digits in the last 10 ball games, some number like that. So, I mean, he has been the straw that stirs the drink as of late. You know, you talk about offensive rebounds and the disparity. I thought early on, Arkansas, and this isn't something that shows up in the box score or probably anything anyone writes about, but if you just go back and watch, particularly the first 10, 15 minutes of that ball game, anytime the ball on the Arkansas end had a chance to go out, it didn't, went in. Sometimes you just have those nights where that ball's on the rim and it could fall either way, it could bounce either way, and it seemingly goes in nearly 8 out of 10 times. I thought early in that game that gave Arkansas some rhythm and some flow and some points, obviously. Seemed like a lot of those tip putbacks and just first looks in the paint found their way through the net.
Ricky had one, and then Devo had a 3 that did that exact same thing we were talking about. You thought it was going to pop out and ended up rolling in. Then Ricky Council had a pull-up jumper that did the exact same thing. And these guys are used to the rims. They are used to playing on these, not just at the practice facility, but these guys play and practice at Bud Walton as well. It's always better to play in your home gym, which Arkansas has now won 3 straight at. You had a 3-game homestead. Coach Muss was talking about this, how important it was to win all these games. Well, you did. You've got that elusive road game ahead of you against a putrid team that got clocked by Mississippi State last night on Saturday. This is not a good basketball team you're playing on Saturday. You should win this game and get your first road win of the season. And that would, again, put you at 4 straight conference wins, which would be big after the 3 that they've won to this point. Honestly, they should have had 5 straight wins if they would have beaten Baylor.
All right, so, I mean, you just do the math. With 9 games left, 4 wins under your belt, you got to get 5 to get there, and you know you got a road trip to Tuscaloosa, road trip to Knoxville, and road trip to Lexington and Kentucky to come in your place. And, oh, by the way, you got to go to College Station as well. Those are 5 games that are more difficult than the other 4 you have left, like South Carolina on the schedule. I know the old cliches, you play them one at a time, but to make your point another way is you cannot lose the South Carolina game for a number of reasons, but to get to 9-9 at a minimum in this league, you've got too many other tough ball games ahead in this last 9-game stretch. This one's one that you cannot even have a thought of letting become competitive.
Nope, I agree with you 100%. Got to get this win on Saturday. We're going to take your calls and texts throughout the morning, 877-377-6963. Chuck's going to join us in about 20 minutes. Get his reaction. He's live in Bud Walton Arena calling the game last night.
Hey, we're brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The best brands, the best prices. I know camping may not be on a lot of your minds right now, but at Wheels RV, they're ready to take care of you for the upcoming spring and summer camping season. So now is the time to get the best prices. A lot of people are thinking about RV shows and RV show pricing and all of that coming up. Hey, Wheels is going to be right there with the best price and a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. It's all at Wheels RV. Again, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
We'll get more into basketball coming up, some other stories. Sean Payton's going to Denver. The Big 12 schedule was announced. We've got National Signing Day today. I know there's not going to be a ton of Razorback football news, but we're going to get a chance to hear from Pittman and some others coming up later.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
This is former Razorback tight end Ben Cleveland, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Let Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover. We'll help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports and everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Life much easier. JodysAuto.com, JODYS Auto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Blocked by McCall. Mitchell blocked it, saved it to Walsh. Hogs have the ball. Ahead to Council. Ricky with a reverse slam. Oh, my goodness.
The Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. You can listen to it at hitthatline.com or wherever you hear your favorite podcast.
Appreciate Bill from Northeast Arkansas drinking some coffee and joining us every morning. Just a reminder for everyone, Bill's not necessarily in our listening area per se on traditional terrestrial radio, but we do have Facebook, we do have YouTube, we do have Twitter, we do have Twitch, and we also have hitthatline.com. So really, you can listen to us not just anywhere in Arkansas or the United States, but anywhere in all the country. We've got people that listen to us overseas that are stationed in different places, and it's always good to listen after an Arkansas win, Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, one thing a lot of people are thinking about right now to get you through these colder days is a little bit of springtime fishing. But I tell you what I'm thinking about, a little winter fishing next week. I'm going to go up to Gaston's, and I'm going to take along the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue. It's perfect on the White River or anywhere you're fishing for that trophy brown or rainbow right now as they're coming off the spawn. If you know what February 1 means on the White River, then you know. And I imagine today and this weekend, particularly as the weather warms up, it's going to be busy below the Bull Shoals Dam. Hey, you want to catch that big one? The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will help you do it. It's got that famous rolling action and stays in the strike zone longer, helping you catch that big trophy you've been wanting. Hey, pick one up at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy. Go online to lurenet.com or find it at your favorite tackle stores all over the place. It's the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
JT in Hot Springs texted in this yesterday. I thought it was sarcasm. Maybe he's serious, but he thinks that Arkansas is going to go 8-1 in their next 9 games after starting out 4-5. I initially, again, thought that was sarcasm, but maybe there's actually some gust behind that thought process, Tommy.
I mean, if you want me to analyze what he's thinking, I don't really know how to do that. I don't believe Arkansas is going to only lose one more game, and it's not because I don't think the team is hitting its stride. I think there's more and more people you're listening to. Jimmy Dykes got into this last night about Nick Smith and how he's convicted Nick Smith's going to play soon. Obviously, there was a tweet last night I assume we're going to talk about at some point that Nick Smith himself put out. So what kind of lift he might be for the team could propel you to that. But I don't believe just with Nick Smith coming back perhaps is going to get you wins in Tuscaloosa, Lexington, and Knoxville, and what would at least be two of those 3 places.
And the schedule that they have ahead of them, I don't know, looking at some of the Big 12 schools, that's the toughest conference in college basketball, but I would think where Arkansas has to go till still remaining, college, like the places Tommy just listed, College Station, Lexington, Knoxville, hosting Kentucky again. I mean, you're having to go to places that are going to be really tough, and I don't think anyone at Texas A&M liked the way that Devontae Davis closed out that game. So it is going to be a brutal stretch for Eric Musselman and the company, but there's a lot of positives that you can take away from how they've been playing lately. And you've got a bad South Carolina team that you could get all tied up in conference play at 5-5 this Saturday. Hadn't gotten a road win just yet. So again, there are some good things going for this basketball team. Tommy, I do not understand. Help me understand why teams do not zone the Razorbacks the entire game. It seems like there is so much more opportunity for Arkansas to get in rhythm, and they play better against man. And I realize that teams don't traditionally run zone, with the exception of Syracuse and some other unorthodox teams that coach around it. But if you watch the games, Arkansas struggles so much more against zone than they do man, and I don't know why coaches don't stick to it for just 40 minutes.
It's pride. I mean, zone seems like, I don't say desperation, but, everyone wants to feel like I can guard my man. I don't need help side defense. I don't need a man and a half coming out. Zone's about helping out. And I think it's within our DNA as men. It's why they go man to man. I want to beat you. I want to get in front of you, move my feet, and keep you from getting to the basket. And when you go to zone, it just takes that away. I think there's some of it's just pride and ego. I want to prove to you, my opponent, I can beat you with man defense.
Well, if you remember, it didn't start out great for Arkansas. They turned the ball over their first possession. And again, they had 18 turnovers per game, last night. This team is the second worst team in all of the conference in turning the basketball over. They've got to get better at that if they're going to win some of these road games. It's one thing to have 18 turnovers at home. It's a completely different other thing to have it on the road. But what I've noticed at times is guys overpass. There's a difference, and they move the ball well at times. They looked really good at points last night, but sometimes they get against the zone, they get a little pass happy. When someone has an open look, they don't necessarily just take it, or especially in the paint, which is a little hard, which is team strength. Sometimes they overpass, and that leads to turnovers when they try the interior passing.
Yeah, and Arkansas, I think, overpasses it sometimes. They had last night a couple of looks at or near the basket underneath that I thought could have been layups, but maybe had to jump back. The pass may have put one of the Mitchells too deep at times, but then they passed up what I thought was, simple chip shots underneath. Now, one of them turned into a three for Devo, so that was fine. But it seems like Arkansas at times gets the ball to the look you would think you would want. I don't know what the design is, but then they kick it out. Maybe the three's what they were wanting all along on that particular set, but it seems like they pass up at times at least a very reasonable 2-point shot within a few feet of the basket to get that extra pass.
If I remember that sequence right, that was the Devontae Davis NBA 3 after Mekhi Mitchell had a wide-open reverse layup. That now, sometimes when you're under the rim, you don't know where the defender is, and you don't know where the basket is either. But, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about on that. But, again, points in the paint, you were tied with Texas A&M last night. They just kind of pounded you on the glass, especially on offense. We talked about it earlier. A lot of that was to do with the fact that they missed a ton of shots. But you take away the Mitchell brothers last night, Mikal and Mekhi. Mikal actually probably outplayed his brother for one of the few times this season, not only defensively, but getting rebounds. Both those guys were so great on their birthday. And I know that's really special for them to get to celebrate a win against a really good conference opponent and for them to come up big. Not many times. I think that's only the second or third time that they've I know they started together against Alabama. They might have started together against Vanderbilt too, but I think that's only the third time maybe this season that they've started together.
What do you think mattered more to them, the win or their birthday?
Probably the win.
At what age does your birthday cease being a big deal?
I think when you turn 22 or 21, it's a big deal. When you turn 50, it's a big deal, and then 75, it's a big deal for guys at least.
40s. I think the big ones, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. I don't know. I'm not part of that anymore. We're 23. Maybe that was a big deal last night. I thought it's cool that they got to start. Again, we talk all the time, and Chuck reminds us it's who finishes the game that matters. And Arkansas didn't go deep in their bench last night. I mean, Jordan Walsh came out. I thought it was one of Jordan Walsh's more complete, well-rounded games. He came off the bench. I don't know if coming off the bench was a bigger factor. He's not always started, but he didn't have a starting role last night. 12 points. More importantly, you look over to the left of that on the stat sheet, he only fouled 3 times last night. I thought he played much better defense, far less with his hands and more with his feet.
Yep, and he played less minutes, and maybe that led to less fouls as well. He looked more comfortable at points last night.
Though.
The best, but he's played he played 40 minutes the other night when he started.
Well, he hadn't been able to play a lot of minutes because he's been in foul trouble.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, minutes have been rare for him just because of foul trouble. I mean, I don't know. I've just got a couple box scores within arm's reach, but let's see. He played 18 minutes at Baylor, so, I mean, against LSU, you look at it and he played 24 minutes. So, I mean, a little closer to what he had last night. But it certainly fouls have limited what he's been able to do lately when it comes to that. All right, Chuck's coming up. He'll join us in a few minutes. We're brought to you by World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH. If you're a DirecTV customer and Newsmax is no longer available on your guide, it's time to make the move to DISH. Lock in your price for 3 years with World of Wireless on a 2-year commitment and be installed this weekend. That's 877-305-DISH. DISH and World of Wireless has been your local premier DISH dealer for more than 25 years. 877-305-DISH for WOW, World of Wireless.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
We had 2 people over here cooking mess out in the back barn behind the house.
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer, unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Hi folks, Matchmaker Larry Rath here with a sweetheart of a deal from Rath Auto Resources. I'm on a mission to help you find the nicer, newer car of your dreams. So if the thrill is gone with your old ride, come see the best selection of Rath Road Ready vehicles we've had in over 2 years. Each one hand-picked and reconditioned in our Meineke Car Care Center. Just find the one you love the best and let our friendly, non-commissioned solution specialists do the rest. With discounts up to $4,100 below retail and the highest trade-in values ever, you'll be head over heels for the deals too. Gonna make it work with the car you have? Let us give it the attention it deserves in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires. But hurry, this deal will be over quicker than your first crush. Start driving better today in a nicer, newer car you love from Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com to set your consultation. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
What's new in 23 at the Golf Nut? Callaway Paradigm Woods and Irons in stock February 24th, and Cobra Aerojet Woods and Irons arriving February 9th. New Titleist Pro V1 will be in stock January 24th, and new golf bags and shoes arriving daily. Book a time on their hitting base with the TrackMan technology, or play a round of golf on one of their mini courses like Bethpage Black or Pebble Beach. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith, or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I'm going to be honest with you. I wondered how gritty and tough this team was going to be. You got McDonald's All-Americans out there. You don't have a lot of what you would normally categorize as tough kids. But I think that as we've gotten through this month, this is the only way they have a chance to win, is to play that gritty style.
Well, it was a good win last night, and a win you really had to have at home. The man who described it on the radio, Chuck Barrett, joins us next here on the Morning Rush, as he does every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're brought to you by APAC Arcola. You're looking for a job and you want to work for a great company with top pay, a huge benefits package. It includes a sign-on bonus, great salary, health insurance, life insurance, all the full gamut, the full cafeteria, if you will, on all the benefits. They've got it. Got retirement planning. You got all of that included in one nice compensation package for you. So if you're looking for a great place to work and you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, concrete finisher, diesel mechanic, experience in a quarry, experience finishing concrete or paving asphalt, they would love to talk to you. Go to jobs.crh.com to apply today. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer. Chuck, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, it's been a fun last 12 hours or so as Arkansas gets a win last night, 80-71. It kind of turned into a block party last night with the Razorbacks swatting out 13 of A&M shots.
Yeah, I mean, it was really fun to watch. It was a good win, and they needed it. You're right. That was a ball game they needed to win, and I thought the way they played, the way they protected the rim, the Mitchells had a big night, and they weren't the only ones, but it was a good team win. They beat a good team last night. That is a team that had won 9 of 10 ball games. So, got a chance to get back to 500 Saturday. Need to do that.
Devo 4 of 8 from behind the 3-point line last night was as critical as anyone in this win last night to what he provided. And then Ricky Council also with 19 points in the game had maybe the dunk of the night. In fact, it was the number one highlight on SportsCenter.
Was it really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, number one. I didn't know that either till I saw a screenshot this morning. But
well, I didn't pay attention last night, I guess. Yeah, they Devo played well, Council played well. Teams tend to shoot better at home, and Arkansas did. They shot 50% at home and shot 33% from the arc. And you can win a lot of ball games shooting 33% from three-point range. That's what A&M shot, so obviously it doesn't guarantee anything. But I thought a real difference last night was A&M didn't make their free throws, and I realized that wasn't the entire difference in the ball game, but I think 7 times, if I'm not mistaken, 7 or 8, they went to the line and made 1 of 2. Yeah. So I thought as the game wore on, those points really started to matter, and Arkansas did what they had to do, and it was just overall it was just a really good team win. Yeah. And the Mitchells were fun. I mean, Mikal had a great game.
I thought where the game was won last night, Arkansas had way too many second-half turnovers and really let A&M hang around by giving extra possessions and some easy baskets. Muscall's timeout with just over 4 minutes ahead of the TV timeout that would have come under 4. And from that point on, they had a lot better ball security. In fact, I don't know that they turned it over again. Arkansas pulls away, makes their free throws down the stretch. They were really good in the closing minutes. But, Chuck, ball security in the last 4 minutes of the ball game was critical because it was starting to feel like it was slipping away a little bit there in the mid part of the second half.
It got better. I mean, it did get better down the stretch, and that's an issue. I mean, that's that's something that you've got to, that's something you got to deal with. You just can't do that, particularly on the road. And there were points last night where Arkansas was in control of the game. But as you say, I mean, they were never really able to pull away because of the turnovers. Now, they made up for it in other areas. And as we've said with this team, and I talked about this yesterday on Phil's show, we can pick after every ball game, and there are things to pick, win or lose. This is a deficient team in some areas and will remain that way. And, I don't see some things changing. But I do think this team right now has its feet underneath them. I think every game they're out there giving maximum effort. I mean, they may not win every game, but every game they're giving maximum effort. You got guys playing through injuries right now. they're happy to put that uniform on and play, and they like it. And again, I think after every ball game, there are going to be things you can look at, and I don't know that we're going to have a perfect game. I don't know that we're going to look at the stat sheet at the end of a ball game and say, man, that's it right there. I just don't know if that's going to happen. But this team's good enough to win some games, and they've got some grit about them now, and they do the things good teams do at home. We saw it last night. They shot the ball well, and they're going to have to go on the road and protect the basketball now. And they're going to have to do something about the turnovers and limit them and not give up some of the points off turnovers. But, again, it's not going to be a perfect team. But, they won last night, and they've got a chance to win again on Saturday. And then after that, you're on a streak at that point, and you feel like you can do a lot of things.
You just kind of referred to what Dennis in Springdale likes, Chuck, the fact that this basketball team, despite the injuries, despite the lapses of judgment, and through halfway point of the conference season, they're second worst team in the league in turning the ball over. They've got to get that cleaned up at some point, but they're improving, and this team is 9 day better than they were at the start of conference play. And there's going to be issues with young guys handling the basketball, but they're playing more as a team. And I think what Arkansas fans really appreciate about this basketball team is the fact that guys are hobbled, per se, and still gutting. I mean, AB's not healthy. You can tell the way he walks. Like, even walking off the court last night, he's limping, gimping around, and yet that guy's giving, as you just said, maximum effort.
Well, he is. And, we're at the point in the season where there are going to be bumps and bruises. But, there have been some that go a little bit beyond that. These guys have played a lot of minutes. You look at it last night. There weren't a whole lot of guys that played. So, you're going to take some shots. And it's physical when you get into conference play. And every league's like this. Even the leagues that aren't as good as some of the others, when you get into conference play, it's a physical game then. And they let you do a few more things, it seems like, anyway. So, I think teams that win ball games down the stretch have that character about them. Now, there are some things that you can't overcome. Teams get in spots where that takes them as far as it'll take them, and then you're finished. I don't know what it's going to be like with this team. But I like where they are right now. I think if you look at where this team was a month ago and you look at where this team is right now, there's been substantial progress made. And the good news through all this is there's not an NCAA tournament today. And, as we've seen before, we get all caught up in bracketology in February, and by the time the NCAA tournament really kicks into high gear, we don't remember any of that stuff because all it is just a setup. So, if they can make as much progress in February as they did in January, I think it's going to be fun to watch when we get to March.
You just brought up a point there about kind of shortening the bench a little bit. They played 7 guys last night. Jordan Walsh and Jalen Graham come off the bench, and I know this question might have to be reevaluated if and when Nick comes back. But guys, do you think he's found his 7, possibly 8 guys with Nick from here on out, or was that just kind of a one-off for last night?
Oh, I think each game's different. They really went with 6 in the second half. Graham didn't play in the second half. If he did, I don't recall. It was very brief. But, I just think the game dictated that last night. That's what they felt like they needed to do to win. So there may be other nights where you feel like you need to have Kamani Johnson in there. There may be other nights where you feel like you need to have Joseph Pinion in there, some of the others. But, last night, that's who he felt like he needed to win the ball game with. But, and I'm guilty of this too. I think we're all guilty of this. Sometimes with must-coach teams, we look at it and we say, all right, he's figured out his 7 or 8 guys. And then, something happens and it's not those 7 or 8 guys anymore. Or there's been a reshuffle within those 7 or 8 guys. So, for example, starting the Mitchells again last night. He'd done that before and didn't have great results. I didn't know if he'd do it again, to be honest. But he did, and it worked. So, there's going to be continued tinkering. I don't know that there's going to be a point where we say, okay, this is what it's going to be. I'm just not sure that this team's that settled yet. Maybe they will be, but I'm not sure they are today.
All right, you've seen 9 of these SEC games. You've watched a lot others. What do you think of A&M now that you've seen them up close? Is this a top 4 SEC team, or did your opinion change at all about who you thought the Aggies were after seeing them last night.
Well, I'm not sure. They had planes, trains, and automobiles getting here, and they didn't get to the arena until they got there, and so your routines changed, and sometimes that affects your shooting. And I know Z thought that was a big deal last night. I'm not an ex-coach, so he can speak to that better than I can. Teams tend to, and I can tell you from traveling with teams, everything's done on a schedule. You get your itinerary. There's not a lot of deviation. You know where you're going to go when you leave the house, even before you go to the airport. So it is different when those things happen. So I would imagine A&M will be very good at home in 2 weeks when Arkansas goes down there. I would imagine A&M's ready to play, and it might be a different story then. But hey, they're 7-2, and as a wise coach once said, "You are what your record says you are," and 7-2 is pretty good.
There's 4. You mentioned the trip to College Station, but there's 4 critical road games coming up, and we know where they're at Alabama, Tennessee. You got to go to Lexington, play Kentucky there, and College Station. So, Arkansas's got to find a way to really round out a quality resume and maybe be better than what some of the projections are right now. They got a great opportunity to win in some tough places, but they're going to be tough, and I think A&M is going to be a place in a couple of weeks where winning won't be easy.
Well, I don't think for this team any win's going to be easy. I just really don't. I don't. I think they're going to have to battle to win every one of them, and A&M's going to be a tough road game. And I realize this is cliche-ish, and people get tired of hearing things like this, but this team's not good enough to look past today. They're really not. Now, if they'll do things the way they've done the last 2-3 weeks, they can win some games. They can win some games, but I don't think that we can look at the big picture. I don't think they can. The first thing you better do is make sure that you play well at South Carolina, because they've not won many games, and you sure don't want to be the team they beat.
They haven't won a home SEC game all year,
and you don't want to be the one.
Refresh my. Didn't they beat Kentucky
in Lexington?
In Lexington,
yeah.
How the hell does that happen?
Well, because Kentucky they had a couple of guys hurt that night. Yeah. They weren't playing well, and South Carolina went in there and stole one. And sometimes that happens, and it's not reflective of Kentucky, and it's sure not reflective of South Carolina.
And despite that, South Carolina's net ranking's still like 804. It's seriously like 270. It's probably, I hadn't looked at this, probably amongst the worst teams in Power 5, at least the bigger conferences, Power 6, wherever you want to consider it, in major college basketball. They've got to be, guys, amongst the worst teams in kind of that group, if you will, non-mid majors.
Well, some of the spreads have been worse at home than they've been on the road.
It makes no sense.
Well, nobody comes to see them play. If you watched any of their games, well, no. But here's the thing, and that goes back to my point a minute ago. You don't want to be the one.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't want to be that team.
And they're what? Was it 3 years or 4 removed from a Final Four trip, or is it even that long?
I think it was 2018.
Okay, maybe a little longer. Time gets away. But, this isn't a program that's like – now, they hadn't had a ton of success, but, it's not like Frank Martin's, never done anything there. It's not like he didn't, build the ground floor of something, but they haven't built upon it. That's a while back.
That was their really only good year. And Martin had a lot of success at Kansas State. Mm-hmm. Never really worked out there, and it doesn't seem like it's getting all that much better with the new guy. But, again, it's as we saw, South Carolina went to Lexington and won. And, I don't, in the grand scheme of things, I don't really think that's going to hurt Kentucky all that much. Maybe, it embarrasses them a little bit, but, they've done pretty well since then for the most part. But, you've just got to focus on yourself. You got to focus on Arkansas. And if you go over there and do what you've done, if you do that, you'll win. If you don't, you're going to be the one everybody's talking about. You don't want to be those guys.
Well, everybody's on the move right now, Chuck, trying to get their the right move in the SEC. If you're on the move yourself, you got the pros that can help you find the right new home.
We do. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, is the place that I've gone. And I think that, their service for you would be the same that it was for me. I feel certain in saying that. And I partnered with them to sell a home, and I partnered with them to buy a home. And, both times they just flat out knew a whole lot more about it than everybody else. And they answered the questions that I had. And they were better negotiators as a result of their training and their knowledge of the business. And so, when we got from contract to close, everything worked out. And that's what you want, whether you're a buyer or a seller. You want it to work out. You want a fair price. And that's what they do at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. They've got the best training in the business, and it shows every day. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale. They're in Bentonville. They're in Fort Smith. They've recently opened a new office in Branson, Missouri. They got a lot of yellow signs out there. You're going to see them. And you can log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
As what y'all make of Sean Payton going to Denver, the Saints are going to get a first-round and a second-round draft pick. The Broncos are going to get a third, and, of course, Sean Payton. Is that going to work out? Is that a good move by the Broncos organization, I guess, Mr. Walton?
Here's what I would say. What move could the Walton family have made that would have been better or made a bigger splash or energized their franchise more? That's the name everyone's talking about. When you put a list together, and here's the guy he's number one on a lot of people's list to be their next head coach. So, I mean, how do you not call it a home run hire, at least from day one? Sean Payton's got the pedigree, the experience, and I think, at least for now, I don't know how you wouldn't be happy with that, Chuck, if you're a Broncos fan.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to win the press conference, but I don't, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think in the National Football League hiring a head coach is, the end-all, be-all. Sometimes it is, but, Sean Payton's a really good coach. Is he a Hall of Fame coach? I don't know about that. I mean, Drew Brees is he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't know if Sean Payton's a Hall of Fame coach. Your myth kind of grows. I mean, everybody thought John Gruden was going to come back and be the Messiah. Didn't work out that way. Here's the deal. They had a home run last year when they got Russell Wilson. That didn't work out very well. My point is that Sean Payton is a good hire. He's a good coach. And he does win the press conference, and he does sell tickets, and he does energize the fan base. But this is the National Football League. And just as Kellen Moore's firing in Dallas won't mean a thing if Dak Prescott doesn't get better, in Denver, hiring Sean Payton won't mean a thing if Russell Wilson doesn't get better. And that's on Russell Wilson. So we'll see how that works out. But there's no doubt that they made the splash and they got the guy everybody seemingly wanted.
So you referenced Kellen Moore. He's now with Los Angeles, the Chargers, Herbert Staley, and people I think are excited to see what he can do with the former Oregon quarterback. Chuck, is there an offensive coordinator in the National Football League that you think would have a good impact on Dak Prescott, teamed with Mike McCarthy?
I think every offensive coordinator in the National Football League is skilled. I think they all bring a different perspective. They're professionals. I think if you if you're good, you take something from the good coaches, from every single one of them that you've been with. And I don't know that there's a guy in the National Football League that you bring in and he's automatically going to make Dak Prescott better. These, I think, and I've always thought this, I mean, we put way too much, particularly in the NFL, we put way too much emphasis on coordinators. Changing things in Dallas is not going to be the magic wand for what ails them, and it's not that way in any National Football League job. So I'm not sure there's anybody out there that you bring in and, all of a sudden, a quarterback stops throwing interceptions in critical moments. Kellen Moore, he's got a better quarterback to work with now. Seems to me like he came away the winner.
Yeah, and that will be interesting with Denver. When you look at that, is what was Sean Payton maybe promised, or what was the conversations like on what money would be spent, what commitment would be made, what kind of contract structure would be offered to some kind of top-shelf quarterback? Because essentially everything you were saying a minute ago, Chuck, and what you're saying now is, coordinator's important, but who the quarterback is paramount to the success of any franchise.
I mean, that's what it's all about in the NFL. Now, look, Sean Payton's deal is about the money. I mean, let's not act like coaches aren't like players, particularly at the NFL level. That deal's about the money. And they'll worry about the quarterback after that. But it's a good deal for him. It's a good deal for Denver in terms of, re-energizing the franchise, as you say. But ultimately, you got to go out and win, and that's on the quarterback in the National Football League.
There's a lot of quarterback storylines heading into this next season. I know we still haven't concluded this one because you got two great matchups with Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, but think about how Russell Wilson could potentially work out there, what Aaron Rodgers is going to do with the Packers or another organization, where Derek Carr's going to land, how Herbert's going to do with Moore. Then you've got, of course, Tom Brady and his ultimate decision, what he's going to do. I know there's a lot in flux right now, and I don't know if you can necessarily say outside of the teams that we've known at this point that can make the playoffs, like where these guys are going to land.
Well, here's the deal in my mind. If San Francisco gets the right guy, they're the favorite in the NFC next year. They're not going to have Purdy back. You're not going to be the odds-on favorite with Garoppolo. You bring Aaron Rodgers back to the Bay Area, I think they're the immediate favorite in the NFC next year.
You got Rodgers and Brady that grew up.
Yeah, I
San
take
Francisco
Rodgers.
fan.
I would, as much as I respect and admire everything Tom Brady's done, Rodgers has got a couple of really good years left. He's not my favorite guy. I mean, I'm so over Aaron Rodgers, I can't even describe it. But he's still got a couple of good years left, and I'd pick him over Brady.
Does fame just make you weird? Because
I don't know.
Because
something happened to him along the way.
Both of those guys, and I think Tom Brady's becoming more and more weird by the day. But Aaron Rodgers jumped the shark on that a few years ago.
He's a strange guy, but now he can play. I mean, he can play. He made it too much about him in Green Bay this year. But and I would be concerned about that, frankly, if I was the 49ers.
That's a power move.
He's still got a couple of good years left, I think.
The deal with the Packers organization, and I can say this because I'm a fan, we didn't surround him with anything. I mean, the whole Devontae Adams debacle and then not drafting an offensive player in the first round like the last 10 years or so. I mean, you just didn't give him any big-time offensive weapons out of Adams. Now, if he goes to San Fran, as you're talking about, Chuck, you've got Deebo Samuel and Ayuk and Kittle. Then you've got the hand the ball off to Wilson and Christian McCaffrey. And that is a loaded offense. And Purdy was
with a really good defense.
Yes.
That's why I say, you put Aaron Rodgers on that team, they're the favorite in the NFC next year.
So who would be the favorite in the AFC? Is it based on the outcome of this game?
I mean, let's play the Super Bowl, Let's get this done before we talk about who the favorite is next year. But, I think it would be there's pretty much the same cast of guys you got right now.
What's crazy to me is Mahomes is still putting up these numbers on a bum, and calling it a bum ankles, I think almost putting it too lightly, the pain that he was having to go through. But he's doing it. He lost Tyreek Hill in the offseason. He lost at one point in the game, Mecole Hardman, probably his second or third best wide receiver. He lost, I think, Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, he was throwing to guys like the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th guys. Still put up 300-plus yards. Unbelievable.
I just don't know how Travis Kelce's open on every play.
Smart guy, man. Former quarterback, knows always where to be in the zones, and the man, very intelligent.
Hey, with the weather the way it's been, everybody's getting cabin fever, ready to get out and have something good to eat. When you break out a little bit, you might want to head over to Art's Barbecue on Rogers Avenue if you're down in Fort Smith. Get you a brisket sandwich or a jumbo pulled pork sandwich. Maybe even have them put a scoop of slaw in there for you. One of their great sides. Their smoked baked beans are incredible. Their homemade mac and cheese will warm you up right now on these cold days. And then maybe top off your meal tie with one of their fried pies. They got a big selection of that as well. 452-2550. You can call ahead, pull up to the drive-up window. They'll have it ready. It's Art's Barbecue, one of our favorites on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Hour 2 coming up. We'll talk more Razorback basketball after the win last night.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all. When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
All the way to engines and any maintenance. You are trusting your vehicle to a local company in business for 37 years. Voted best of the best time and time again. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier. JodysAuto.com. JODYS Auto.com.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, dry weather across the north, still looking at freezing rain. Across the south, we may see trace amounts of additional accumulations. Our high temperatures today into the low to mid-30s. Now, freezing drizzle, freezing rain, and sleet possible tonight, and overnight low into the upper 20s to low 30s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
You're listening to the Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3 KERX Paris Fort Smith. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
Walsh with a rebound, 2 seconds, 1 second. Devo's going to dunk it at the horn, and Arkansas wins it by a final of 81-70. Devo cleaned it up there at the end, slammed it home. The Razorbacks have an 81-70 victory. Arkansas has now won 3 straight in Southeastern Conference play, and they looked impressive tonight.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Hour number 2 of the Morning Rush on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. I know a lot of you don't really have a beef based on the way this team played last night. I want to hear from Coach coming up. It hasn't just been last night, but the defensive performances that they put on lately have been special. We're going to hear from Coach Musselman coming up in just a bit, guys.
Hey, Valentine's Day. We're in February, by the way, guys. It's February 1 today. So, month of Valentine's Day is the shortest month of the year. You got to get a lot of things right in the next couple of weeks. Go to hitthatline.com and click on the menu bar, and you'll find the Valentine's Day getaway. We're giving away a trip to the historic Arlington Resort Hotel and Spa in downtown Hot Springs. So you can treat your sweetheart to a great weekend getaway. You can get a massage, a great dinner, and, of course, a romantic room all at the Arlington. Our Valentine's Day getaway is brought to you by Richard's Country Meat Market. Hey, when love's at stake, call Richard's 443-0000 or stop by 3042 North Market Avenue in Fayetteville. Also make Valentine's Day one to remember with a dazzling diamond or a gem from Swift Jewelers. They're on the square in Fayetteville next to Hugo's and online at swiftsjewelry.com, your personal jeweler since 1956. And with love in the air, Cupid's has everything you need for your Valentine. The perfect gift to make Valentine's the best one yet. Visit Cupid's Lingerie in Springdale and in Bentonville. Register online once a day, every day. And, guys, you can have a great trip to one of our favorite spots in Arkansas. That's downtown Hot Springs to the Arlington. We'll give it away on Monday, February the 13th.
Here's Muss after the game last night.
I thought our defense against Baylor was as good as any defense that we've played since I've been here, and I thought tonight, we did the same. I mean, that was a really, really emotional, difficult loss in Waco. It really was. I mean, we fought hard. We were emotionally ready to play the game, mentally ready, physically ready to play the game.
Baylor's the second most offensive efficient team in the country. You hold them to 34%. A&M's got some really good offensive players. You hold them to 34%. Guys, what have you noticed about this team lately in games, how they've been playing on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, I mean, the last 4 games, it's been an average of 34%. That's where it's been the last 4 games. And, you keep doing that, you're going to win the vast majority of your games. And so I think he's really happy with the way they're playing defensively right now. And that's where it all has to start with this team. I mean, that just, coaches will say that all the time. Sometimes it's true, and sometimes it's like, man, you got to turn those horses loose, and they eventually do. But with this team, I don't know that it's going to be that way. I think this is how they have to win. And last 4 games, it's been about as good as they've certainly been this year. That's for sure.
They forced some turnovers last night, but I thought the defense statistically was at least as much about the blocks and just the effect it had on the game. Guys, I just wonder how much of that is getting in the opponent's head. I thought last night it certainly affected A&M, and as you prepare for Arkansas, how much of that's mental, knowing that Arkansas can block as many shots as they have, cause you as much problems? That's something in basketball no player wants a shot blocked, and I think that's a mental thing, a little mental intimidation Arkansas brings into every game, Chuck.
No doubt about it. I mean, when you can defend above the rim, that certainly does make people think about what they're doing. And, you look at what happened last night. I mean, this was against physical players. I mean, Marble's a big guy, and Coleman is too. I mean, this is a guy that went to Duke, and Marble came from Michigan State. So, I mean, both these guys are, physical type players. And, yeah, I mean, when you can do that, it helps. We notice the spectacular. We notice the block shots. We notice the turnovers. But you're not going to do that every time. You're not going to block a shot every time down the floor. You're not going to force a turnover every time. You've got to be solid on the other trips. You've got to force them into difficult shots. You've got to make them go a direction they don't want to go. You got to challenge literally every pass. That's how you hold somebody to 34%. I mean, again, we'll see the spectacular, and we'll talk about that, and we should. But I mean, it's every time down the floor. And it's fighting through screens. I mean, it's doing the stuff that is not spectacular. But if you don't do it, all of a sudden you look up and the other guys are knocking them down from everywhere. And that's not happening right now.
It's the grunt work, but it's exhausting. I mean, all of those things you just went through, which are right, are physically exhausting, particularly for a team that's playing 7, maybe 8 players on any given night.
Most teams are playing that way, though, now. The teams that go 9, 10 deep, you may see some of that in the first half. You're not going to see it down the stretch. I mean, pretty much everybody now, that's the style. You just don't see the teams that come at you in waves anymore. Most guys go with 7 or 8. These are kids. They're conditioned now to play 35, 40 minutes, and they're going to. The good players are going to on every team. And, I don't think Arkansas is going to be much different there. But you're right. I mean, it is taxing. There's no question about it. And that's why when you get to this stage, you got bumps and bruises. It's not football, but, basketball injuries affect basketball the same way football injuries affect football. And, these are premium athletes in that respect. So even a little thing can affect their game. But I like what they're doing right now.
I think you just got to look at the best player each and every game for the opposing team and look at what they average relative to what they finish at. So, for example, and you could say Radford, Taylor, both are great guards. Taylor finishes with 18, but guys, he was 6 of 19 shooting, so inefficient. Same with Radford, 6 of 19 shooting. Finishes with 17, but that's the efficiency that Devo, and you talk about the little things, shading him away he doesn't want to go, not letting him to get to his spot that he's watched countless amount of film on, and then just irritating. He's a pissant. He is a guy that is consistently just up in the other guy's grill and is annoying as all get out.
What
and that's
word was that?
What was he?
A pissant.
Huh. Okay.
You not heard that before?
No,
well, I've heard the emphasis put on the last syllable. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
I said that
as
wrong?
opposed to the first syllable.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. But he's a guy that is consistently just annoying the other team.
He flusters his opponent.
Yeah, all the time. And I think, I would be annoyed as I get out if Devo had to guard me. And I don't know, he's probably going to be, I know Gigi Jackson's 6'9", but I wouldn't be surprised if Gigi had one of his worst games of the season in Columbia this Saturday.
Devo did all of that last night. You're talking about defensively, and was called for 1 foul.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good technical defense.
The thing about him is, like, a lot of times when a guy plays that hard on defense, it takes away from his offensive game. But he hit a career-high 4 threes last night, and really to start him out, he hit that NBA 3 going. I don't know how he's doing it, and he credits the fact that he's in the gym 2 or 3 times a game. I just hope he holds up when it comes to the rest of SEC play now that we're about halfway through.
Well, let me say this about last night, too, and Devo deserves everything you just said, but he's not the only one. I mean, Devo's not guarding the other 5 guys. And, Jordan Walsh last night, 12.7 rebounds. That's what you see, on the immediate stat line. But he was terrific defensively last night. A lot of them were.
Hey, we're brought to you by The Fence Man, the company we trust for anything on the perimeter of our home or our business or any property that might need a fence. Or, hey, with some of the limbs falling and trees falling, maybe you have a section of fence that's been taken down as a result of the winter weather recently. Call our friends at The Fence Man, 782-3936. From quick, easy repairs to simple or to fast installations, custom jobs. They can do anything involving a fence or a gate. 782-3936, The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Get into our daily question when we return.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
I absolutely love your show. I can't listen to anything else on the drive to work in the morning other than the morning rush.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
What's new in 23 at the Golf Nut? Peen G430 woods and irons arriving January the 26th, and tailor-made Stealth 2 woods arriving February 17th. New Titleist Pro V1 will be in stock January the 24th. Book a time on their Hitty base with the TrackMan technology, or play a round of golf on one of their mini courses like Bethpage Black or Pebble Beach. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is the #1 place to watch every Arkansas basketball game this season. The Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is only $16.99. The Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is made with pulled pork from Neumeyer's Rib Room, sausage, Canadian bacon, pepperoni, crispy bacon, and cheese. Dusted with Neumeyer's Rib Rub. Hop on the Must Bus for every Arkansas basketball game at Papa's. 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, Call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Frank-Row Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank-Row Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank-Row Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit KevinHickeyLaw.com or give them a call today to schedule your consultation. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
Hadn't really talked a lot of football this morning, especially Razorback football, so we can do that right now. Get a chance to hear from Sam Pittman, Dan Enos, Marcus Woodson, Deron Wilson later on today. National Signing Day. I know there's not going to be a ton of news for Razorback football considering you signed most of your class already. But guys, is there anything you're curious about on February the 1st as we get closer to spring ball?
They are. I guess it's going to happen tomorrow maybe because of the weather from what I understand. I'm glad they're getting him.
Say that first part again.
I said I'm glad they're signing the guy that they are.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it's going to be tomorrow because of the weather, from what I understand. I'm not certain on that, but no, it sounds like that's going to be the news.
Yeah, I think
And look, it's the first opportunity here from the other coaches, as far as I know, and so that'll be interesting to hear too.
Yeah, I think we're familiar. Those that have been around a while, familiar with Dan Enos, but our first chance to, ask questions, hear what he has to say, and. I'll be interested to see how far the conversation goes, Chuck, when he talks about his quarterback and KJ Jefferson. I expect it to be overwhelming and positive and all those things coach speak, but we'll see if he lets you in behind the curtain at all about kind of his vision for what this offense is going to be about with Dan Enos at the helm.
Well, all these guys have been before the media before, and I'm sure they'll put on, they'll say all the right things today. And the proof will be in the pudding as we move forward. All these guys are competent. They're hired not only with the idea of what you do on the field, but your ability to recruit, which is what it's all about. And so, it's a combination of things. But I'm sure all of them will be impressive today.
I want to, as you said, that was what I was thinking. Dan Enos and KJ. That was my initial thought is, hey, what do you think about the quarterback you're quote-unquote inheriting in this offense? Where do you think he can improve? Where are you really impressed by? Because, I don't think there's any doubt that KJ Jefferson can get better from the last couple years he's been there. But I want to know if, like you said, if Enos would actually take you behind, I think we can help him with this. I think we can help him with that. I think we can, because if anyone knows about improvement, it's Brandon Allen his senior year. He exploded that year. So hopefully we'll see something similar from KJ this season.
Another guy named Jalen Hurts. I know he's not in the Razorback family, but another guy on Enos' coaching resume. I think another interesting thing, and I don't know how much this will come up because it's not the topic right in front of us, but I was reading a few articles. Sam Pittman recently spoke at an Alabama high school coaches convention. There's one getting ready to happen in Arkansas, and they'll have some, I think Bobby Petrino is even one of the speakers maybe down in Hot Springs for their convention. But Saban was there. Pittman was there. A lot of comments and some things that were reported. Pittman didn't talk with the media, but coaches coming out of that talk about NIL stuff. Both of those coaches, there's been stuff with Saban and two players that came wanting a package deal on NIL, and he sent them down the road packing. I'll be interested to see if anything else comes from Sam Pittman today, Chuck, and his thoughts on NIL and reform there, because it seems to be really frustrating for a lot of coaches right now.
Well, he's kind of expressed his thought on that, and I don't think he's real thrilled with the state of things. And I don't know that any of them are thinking, man, I'm glad it's like this all the time now. I don't think any of them, when they got into this, envisioned that it would be what it is today. So I'm sure they do share ideas. I'm certain all of them do. These coaches' conventions are, my understanding is they're very generous with their information with one another, with their ideas. I mean, as people that work in a similar profession would be with their peers. So I would imagine that they've shared some thoughts. Now, how much they'll share with everybody else, I don't know, but if you pay attention, I think you've got a pretty good idea about how Saban and Pittman feel about all this.
And I think there's a respect level that it's not just Saban has for Sam. We've heard Jimbo Fisher talk about this. There seems to be, and it's not always like this with coaches. You can tell certain guys put on a front, but considering the fact that Nick Saban tried to hire Sam Pittman in some other cases, and I know he was joking about kind of being in between them at the SEC spring meetings, but there is a very mutual respect in this league when it comes to Sam Pittman, Arkansas's head coach.
Well, football people know football people, and he's always been well respected by football people. Just because you're not, in the media limelight doesn't mean you're not respected by football people. And it's always been that way with him. I mean, Georgia right now is what everybody wants to be. And, one of the first people Kirby Smart hired on his staff was Sam Pittman. So, that speaks volumes. And but he'd had a pretty good career prior to that. And again, football people know. I mean, sometimes as fans, frankly, we can get fooled. We get fooled by what makes a head coach and what doesn't. We tend to base way too much on what they say and how they act. But, football people know, and Sam Pittman's always been well respected by those folks.
Yeah. Circling back to today's media event, and listen, I don't expect us to get a ton of open book, honest answers, but Marcus Woodson and Deron Wilson, the new secondaries coach, if there's an area on this team that's got to get some help, and B, got to show some marked improvement, it is the secondary of the defense. We focused a lot on coordinator and quarterback, and that always gets the attention. But guys, I'm interested, and they're not going to lay out the battle plans today and what their thoughts are, and they probably don't know the answers. But that's as interesting a part of conversation about this team moving forward is what happens with the secondary and the defense.
Well, I think we'll get honest answers. I just don't know that, again, they're going to say everything. I mean, if you expect them to come in here and go, man, we weren't very good there last year, we got to get better, they're not going to say that. They're going to talk about how happy they are to be here. And they're going to talk about how they're ready to coach what they've got. And they're ready to go out and recruit some where they need them. And, those are the things that they're going to say today. And frankly, that's what they should say. If you expect a new coach to relive what an old coach did his first time out, I don't think you're going to get that. But obviously, they know a lot better than we do, and they know what they need to address.
All right, that's your Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge is in Heber Springs. They're Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by V's Barbershop with 2 locations in Rogers and Bentonville. Visit V's Barbershop online at vbarbershop.com or in person and see why V's is a cut above the rest.
So we talked about the Arkansas defense this morning, but offensively, 42 points is the most that Texas A&M has allowed in the first half all year. And guys, it really started with Ricky Council. He was on fire in the first half, kind of like he was in the Baylor game.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky had a great game. And, he kind of established himself as a guy who was going to score last night. And, again, he wasn't the only one. You look at the assists. You look at the assists and made baskets. I mean, they were sharing the ball last night. And, Council had a good game, and lots of them did.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to, like you said, Chuck, it's not just Ricky, and it wasn't just Devo on defense. This team is really starting to, I think, mold into the type. And I forget the stat that Eric Musselman always brings up with the amount of assists he wants to see per game, the amount of passes, but they're getting closer and closer to that point each and every game. And I know sometimes they don't do as well against zones, but you're definitely starting to see the chemistry form within this basketball team.
Well, you see a lot more isolation in college basketball than you used to, and so sometimes the assist numbers go down, and sometimes they can even be misleading. But I think when you look at when you look at made baskets and you look at assists, and sometimes you talk about what they call the hockey assist, the assist before the assist. I think they're sharing the ball really well. I mean, when you shoot 50%. You're sharing the ball well.
Yeah, they are. Again, our number is 877-377-6963 if you want to react to Arkansas's win last night, 11-point win. Chuck, what do you think of, we were talking about Ricky's dunk earlier, what do you think of Devo's dunk at the end of the game?
Well, I mean, it was, kind of the punctuation mark, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was a dunk at the horn. The issue was decided, but they left it open, and he decided to take it.
That's that signature, man. Devo does that bounce and then slammed it. I know he's missed one of them before and done it before the horn. That seems like something that he consistently does. Now, they've got a big game on Saturday against South Carolina, not in terms of the opponent they're playing. South Carolina has yet to win an SEC game all season at home. But, I mean, if you can go 2-0 this week to be back in 500 in SEC play after starting, you 1-4? Is that what it was? 1-3 or 1-4? That'd be huge.
It was 1-5. Yep. So I mean, they'll be back to 500 if they win on Saturday. So yeah, I mean that's a and again we kind of talked about this, how the schedule was going to turn a little bit. And that's part of it. And you looked at the schedule and you're 1-5, and you think, well, gosh, we got 3 straight conference games at home, and they're all winnable, and so they've won them. And, you look at South Carolina right now, and even though they've not won at home, and even though you don't want to be the one, you look at that game as a game, if you play well, you got a chance to go over and win, get back to 500. Then it kind of, turns a little bit. You got to go to Kentucky next week. So that's just kind of the ebb and the flow of the schedule, and you've got to take advantage of some of the turns in the schedule like they've had the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Let's change the conversation. We got some breaking news that's happened just moments ago at 7:12 this morning. Tom Brady has officially announced his retirement. He posted a video on his own Twitter page. The first word says, "Hey guys, I'm retiring." We're loading up the audio here in just a minute, but as of 7:12 this morning, he has made it public. Video's already got over 500,000 views. The post got 1.5 million views, and Tom Brady spends the better part of 52 seconds in this video announcing that he is leaving professional football and is retired from the NFL.
It was time. I mean, if you watched him play this year, Tom Brady, it's going to be almost impossible for someone to do what Tom Brady's done. And, I mean, he's kind of redefined the standard of that position, and we've gotten to the point now where, if Tom Brady can play at 45, why can't you? And we're kind of desensitized to what he's actually been able to accomplish. That last Super Bowl championship was just incredible. So, hey, he's had as good a career as anyone who's ever played their sport.
7 of 10.
Yeah. His words were, "Good morning, guys. I wanted you to know I'm retiring." And he pauses and says, "For good." So he kind of doubled down. I mean, the idea of a comeback, at least he's trying to put that off. And at his age, like you're saying, it would seem like another circuit in the NFL would not be. So
you don't think he's going to pull a Jordan? Because if you remember, Jordan retired twice. No, yeah, twice. Because you had after the.
But not at the age of 46 or whatever. He didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a different deal, different sport, whole different thing, and it was time. And I'm glad he did it this way. I was, I can remember. As a kid watching Willie Mays at the end. And, players weren't filthy stinking rich like they are now. And, I mean, some of these guys just are a shell of themselves at the end. And, Brady was approaching that. But, hey, here's a guy who's 45, 46. He's got more money than he'll ever spend. He'll be okay.
So, I don't know, bigger news that will come down probably this weekend. And here's the thing.
Yeah, that's going to be the lead on SportsCenter today. What do you think?
Here's the thing he didn't do. that a lot of self-absorbed athletes would have done is waited and done this somewhere on Super Bowl week or Super Bowl day, or made it more about them on the sport's biggest stage. This is way out in front of the game. It'll have its own news cycle. It will be discussed at the Super Bowl, but this won't be a distraction, come February, 12th in 12 days. And we've seen that before where other news involving players and things around the league come to light, in and around the Super Bowl. Tom Brady's announcement would have certainly been to that level, and I like the way and the timing that he's done this.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but I guess that's right. Yeah, you got to give him credit for that.
You think about, as I referenced Jordan, kind of two different eras for Tom Brady. The initial Super Bowls that he won were less about him and more about the defenses that he had with Teddy Bruschi and Seymour and those guys. And then the latter Super Bowls that he won, a lot more offensive potent. Now, they went with Randy Moss. They didn't win one that year, almost went undefeated. But think about Rob Gronkowski. You think about Julian Edelman, some of the better offensive players he played with in the latter part. He did it in two different ways. Not that Belichick isn't always going to be a good defensive mind, but that was kind of cool to see him evolve as a quarterback. And I know Kansas City Chiefs fans, they feel like they should have been 4 for 4 in the Super Bowl the last 4 years, but a guy by the name of Tom Brady got in their way in that AFC Championship years ago.
Again, everything he's done speaks for itself. He's been he's just been a model of consistency, and that's how Jordan was, and that's how all the great ones are. And that's what is so impressive. We can rattle off players and years and what they did and all that, but the point is they do it year after year after year, and they find a way to get themselves physically ready to go. We, I think, as fans sometimes focus on the mental because we can't comprehend the physical. We cannot comprehend what these guys do to prepare their bodies to do what they do in professional athletics. Things like, you got to come ready to play. You got to focus every play. Those things are easy to understand for fans. I don't think we have an understanding at all of what is involved physically in these guys being able to do it year after year after year. And Brady set a standard that I'm not sure anybody's ever going to be able to meet.
TB12. Yeah, I don't think Tommy, you, or I are going to be on that diet anytime soon.
Question is, will he start eating cheeseburgers now? My guess is he won't break much of his routine moving forward.
Tom Brady is, his star transcends his sport. He's kind of like Jordan. He's a pop culture icon as much as a football icon, and he'll still be in the limelight. He'll still have paparazzi trailing everything he does.
And does this change your opinion on him being a broadcaster, Chuck? I know you were under the impression you didn't think he was going to do that.
I think there's some question. Don't pin me to the wall on that. What I'm saying is I think there's some question on that. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll put it that way.
A lot of people have criticized Tony Romo this year and saying he's lost his passion for it. And he's not as good as he once was as an analyst. I wonder if Tom Brady and Tony Romo would have a sit down and an honest conversation about it, so Tom could ask those questions and what he's really getting into, and take it from the perspective that one of his contemporaries, if you will, could maybe enlighten him on what it's really like to do this, because Romo, for whatever reason, from a lot of people in the industry, has taken some heat this year over his work.
Oh, I just think when you work in that business and that job, familiarity breeds contempt. I just think that's how it is. Sometimes your run's up. There are very few of them that have been able to sustain it decade after decade. There's a flavor of the month every 5-8 years. There's a new flavor of the month. There's a new analyst. There's a new sideline person. There's the hot new play-by-play guy. It's just the cycle. And, Romo's a guy that's really good. I think he's really good at what he does. But I don't think his star is like, a Tom Brady star. I don't think it's a Troy Aikman star. Yeah. I don't think he's that kind of star. And I think for a guy like Romo, sometimes the run's up.
I'm with you. I think this is what you said, so jump in here if I get wrong here or get on the wrong track, but this is, I mean, being a lead analyst on one of the NFL networks is almost beneath Tom Brady. I mean, that he's at that level that that's
kind of what I think.
Above all of that. I mean,
I agree with that.
Joe Montana seemed too good to be in the booth back in the day. Tom Brady has that same feel. I mean, all those other players like Romo and Aikman and others you've mentioned that have done this, they were great players, Hall of Famers, all of that, but he just seems to go beyond all of that.
Well,
Jordan would never have been the analyst on TNT. It just not going to happen.
Romo tried to be Tom Brady. Was it Carrie Underwood that he was with there for a while? I mean, Romo tried to be that guy. He just wasn't quite there. And, look, I like Romo. I mean, I do. And I think he's –
But he's not Tom Brady.
But his star's not as big as Tom Brady. No doubt about that. One thing about all these TV guys, they got to have good hair. That's probably the reason. Well, Ty's got good hair, but
thank you, Chuck.
Yeah, Hey, V's Barbershop's what I'm driving at here, guys. And one of the things that I hear all these people talking about, the thing they like best about V's Barbershop is the fact that it does kind of take them back in time. It's a nostalgic experience. They've got hot leather, and they've got leather chairs and hot lather, and straight edge razor shaves, and they really do set a new standard for barbershops. It goes way beyond just getting your hair cut. And the thing about V's is whether you're a senior, whether you've got a child, whether you're at all points in between, they can service you. And it, again, goes beyond just the haircut, shampoo, facial massage, straight razor shaves, deluxe beard trims. All of these services are available. Now, they've got 2 locations in Northwest Arkansas. They're on Southwest 14th Street in Bentonville, just west of 71B 100, Southwest 14th Street in Bentonville. They're in the Pleasant Crossing Shopping Center in Rogers. I know we've got people in Central Arkansas listening. They're on Cantrell Road, and they've got a location on Chenal Parkway in Little Rock. You can always log on to vbarbershop.com.
Good morning, guys. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring for good. I know the process was a pretty big deal last time, so when I woke up this morning, I figured I'd just press record and let you guys know first. So I won't be long-winded. You only get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year. So really thank you guys so much, to every single one of you, for supporting me, my family, my friends, my teammates, my competitors. I could go on forever. There's too many. Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream. I wouldn't change a thing. Love you all.
It's family time. Maybe coach's son's team, and I don't know where he lives, even, to be quite honest.
It's time to be a super rich guy. Yeah. That's what it is for Tom Brady right now.
You heard his jet in the background coming in to pick him up.
That's right. That's exactly
his
right.
His fleet of jets. He looks, I don't know if you guys have watched any of this video. He looks to be somewhere on or near the beach, because you can kind of see the marshes or the dunes that are off the ocean. What do you call that, Chuck? Between the sand and back to the condo.
Well, he's got a place down there, I guess.
But there is a lot of buildings behind him, so he's not on like a Tiger Woods private island or anything. There's a lot of development behind him in this video, but he looks to be in a better location than, say, Muskogee. I'll put it that way.
I bet it's warmer than where we are.
I bet it
right
is
now.
too. So.
Jeez, yeah. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a guy that is always going to
the GOAT.
Yeah, he's going to be revered as the best quarterback. I know there was a debate once upon a time between him and Joe Montana, and getting to 10, winning 7 of them. He surpassed that at that point. And
there's still the 5-year rule. Do you break that for him and just?
I don't know.
Ken.
No. If whatever the rule is, you stay with the rule. No, you don't. You don't break it for him, no. I mean, it's understood. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but no, you don't change the rule for him.
Have you guys been to Ken before?
No,
I have not. I'd like to. It's a bucket list trip at some point in time to see how that. Been to the college basketball one and some other sports museums.
You can reserve his spot. One thing for sure.
There will be a shrine. There will be a giant hall.
But here's the thing, guys. Tommy, you and I may not see it. Well, Tommy, you might. Ty, you'll see it. There'll be another Tom Brady. When you're my age, you'll have a conversation about the GOAT, and it'll be somebody that's not even around right now. When I was a little kid, everybody wanted to be Johnny Unitas. those were the guy, that was the standard. And we moved on. And by the time Joe Montana came around, there would never be anyone as good as him. There'll be someone that is mentioned like Tom Brady at some point.
Yeah. 7 rings, though. Hope I live long enough to see a quarterback
I don't know that we'll see that, but we'll see someone of his stature again.
Hey, I tell you what I'm looking forward to seeing. That's a trip next week. I got one booked and planned to go to Gaston's because it's February 1, and if you're an angler and you like to fish on the White River, you know what this date means as far as the tailwaters of the Bull Shoals Dam and what the trout fishing is going to be like for the next few weeks. It is prime time. It is the time to get to Gaston's for the best fishing of the year, and it's right now. 40% off with winter rates when you call Gaston's today through the end of this month. 870-431-5202. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
Hey, this is former Razorback Jake Beckett, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith, or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. It's a new year. Why not put a new-to-you vehicle in your driveway? Road Chevrolet wants to buy your vehicle today, and that means you can get out of your old ride and into a great car, truck, or SUV from Road Chevrolet. In fact, trucks starting at only $14,482. Yeah, trucks starting at $14,482. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
Have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That might be a problem if it's due to reprice soon. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed interest rate loan. Farm Credit's terms are the longest in the ag industry, ensuring you'll have peace of mind for years to come. At Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. When rates begin to drop, you can easily readjust your rate again with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. We make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
Needing your roof repaired
repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Oh, yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Arkansas wins against Texas A&M last night, 81-70. I know Eric Mossman was really happy about Mikkel and Mekhi Mitchell, two guys that had great performances on their birthday.
Heading to the arena, the one thing my wife said is make sure you start the Mitchell twins because it's their birthday. I mean, both of them were good. That's a lot of block shots, but we're doing some unique things with Mikkel defensively on where we place him the last two games, and we've been trapping a lot more at half court than we have all season.
Chuck, I know the stat was 1 for 14 when they did that double team thing in the Baylor game. Langston Love hit a corner three. That was it. I don't know what it was last night, but A&M didn't seem ready for that.
Well, that's part of holding the other team to 34%. I mean, you bring that shot clock into play. You make it difficult for the team. I mean, you don't have to, steal the ball. But, you trap, you make them throw over it, and, that's part of keeping a team from getting into the flow of their offense, and they've been really good at that lately.
New Arkansas coaches will meet with the media later on today, and I say new, Dan Enos has been here. He'll be with the media along with Deron Wilson and Marcus Woodson, and we'll have that for you on YouTube as well as hitthatline.com. Got some more baseball news for you. Arkansas has 4 rankings inside the top 10 from different baseball publications, and the softball team has got a couple too. Chuck, I know we're not too far out from those guys getting together in Arlington against some Big 12 teams and kicking the baseball season off.
Yeah, I know some people who are making plans to go to that. It's for a lot of Razorback fans, particularly those in Northwest Arkansas. I mean, it's baseball season's what they look forward to. And they're looking forward to this season. And, baseball's fun because they're always good. And you know that going into every season that you're going to compete for the highest prize. And so people will be there.
I know James Teague is going to be joining us on halftime this fall, Fridays at 12:15, so excited about that. Chuck, I would guess just based on who they've got returning, this pitching staff's going to be pretty dominant.
Could be. I mean, certainly has that potential. I mean, there's everything you would want there. You just got to go out and perform. And obviously, when you're talking about pitchers, you're talking about health. And so you got to get some breaks there. Your top guys have got to remain healthy. But yeah, they've got plenty in their arsenal, a lot to choose from. I think the thing that you hope, and I know baseball's changed, and I know that 4 or 5 innings now is, some people consider that a quality start, but, I think you got to have a bell cow. I think you got to have a guy you can throw out there on Friday night, a guy that goes 12-1. The great teams have that guy, and I hope a couple of those guys can emerge.
I was really the benchmark of that team that had Blaine Knight in year, I guess that would have been 2018, and then you followed up with Zayday, Isaiah Campbell, and those teams made it to the College World Series, so there's definitely some evidence there. That's going to do it for your hog update. It is brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Tommy, you've been looking at the iDrive Arkansas app a little bit. I didn't see really any wrecks in our listening area, but there's definitely some ice, and we hope people are safe driving to work this morning.
I think the roads are worse today than they were this time yesterday, and I don't think it's close because my drive-in, it just did that round that came through yesterday afternoon, and then they treated the roads, but I think it's slicker and more treacherous right now than it was 24 hours ago.
Well, we all kind of fall into the trap of once it's past us, it's over.
Yeah.
And, there are more people in our listening area affected right now than there have probably been at any point this week. I mean, you just look at Hot Springs right now. Look at I-30 from Malvern up to Little Rock. And it's not quite as bad in southwest Arkansas as it was. But there are some areas.
That's the only part of the state, though.
Yeah, the River Valley's got it today. Yesterday wasn't an issue there.
Basically, if you'll draw a line from, say, DeQueen over to Hot Springs to Pine Bluff, if you kind of drew a straight line across that part of the state, everything north of there's got at least ice patches. And then you come to, say, Alma over to Conway to Searcy and just keep going east. Everything north of that's reported is ice covered on most of the roads. So, I mean, the further north you get, obviously, the worse the road conditions. But really, I'd say the northern 75% of our state, all the way down to Pine Bluff, has got some kind of road conditions to deal with. Some minor, some more major. But in the northwest part of the state, there's not a major road that's not got at least ice patches right now listed on the iDrive map. And you look at I-49 from the state line all the way down to DeQueen's got some kind of issue either on 49 or 71 if you were traveling, Chuck, that western corridor of the state.
Yeah, it'll get better today. It's supposed to be above freezing pretty much everywhere today. Sun's going to come out. It'll get a lot better today. It'll be gone tomorrow. But this morning, as you're out and about, there are going to be some areas that may give you some problems.
Yeah, I-40 from the state line just all the way over past Russellville to Atkins. You got to get to Morrilton more or less before it is reported.
Looks like about the county line there.
Yeah, so I mean, there's and then you move on into Faulkner County and at Conway and over on 64 to Bologna. But even when I-40 jogs south there towards Little Rock, it's got ice patches. So I think you got to be more careful. Now, I've said this a few times. I think it bears repeating. I mean, we stepped outside to put some stuff in a vehicle during a break. You got to be careful going outside your door. That's the most dangerous part of a lot of this is. Yeah, you get on the roads, they're bad, but just getting to your car, maybe the most treacherous part of any trip out of your house.
Tommy's telling all the employees when he gives them scrapers on their cars so they won't miss work, hey, you guys make sure you don't slip here at the building. If you're going to fall, you get off the property here before you fall. Yeah. That's the hidden message in all this.
It's ironic enough that he actually gave those to us yesterday, Chuck.
I did. I gave everyone that bothered to show up yesterday. Got it, and I didn't go get the cheap ones either. These were the nice high-dollar ones that aren't going to break. This isn't something you're going to get for free from your insurance agent. Or this is the heavy-duty ice scraper.
Well, Ty, when he starts bringing in sleeping bags, that's when you know you're in trouble.
Yeah.
I got that down for April 12th.
I don't pretend to know that pretend to say that I had a treacherous driving to work this morning or anything like that. But I mean, my dad taught me you got to work. I didn't think
you just got to pay attention. I mean, you just got to pay attention out there. Don't tailgate people. I know people get in a hurry. If you're one of those people that tailgates on dry roads, well, don't tailgate when there's ice out there. I mean, use your brain. It's one of those deals where if everybody will just be a little bit patient. I'm the last person in the world to advise people on patience. I admit that. But I can get a little impatient behind the wheel.
That doesn't sound like you, Chuck.
But
I've never heard that.
But you got to have a little respect for the stuff on the road.
But let me add a caveat: if we're going up a hill, that is not the time to slow down and ride your brake.
Very true.
We are Arkansans. We know how to deal with this stuff 3 times a year. We know how to drive in it 3 times a year. So you just act like if you're going up a hill, don't slow down.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I drive like a psychopath. I usually go 90 on trips just to get there a little bit quicker, but I'm not doing that.
Not that
today.
You're advocating that.
Yeah, I would never listen. No, never. But do as I say. Follow the rules. Don't do as I do in this situation. So this is. But when the roads are like this, I'm not trying to speed and get there a little quicker. You just got to be safe. So, like you said, Tommy, it might be worse today. So,
I don't think there's any question it's worse today. So, take a few more minutes. Most of the schools called it off early yesterday, and hopefully by tomorrow we're getting back to some semblance of normalcy. And I think the weekend forecast, unless it's changed, is still got temperatures pegged out in the near 60 in a lot of our listing areas. So it should get better quickly, but we got to get through probably one more day of it here.
Man, I'm ready for spring.
Yeah. Well, you get a trip to Columbia this weekend. So
that's right. It's not going to be warm over there from what I see.
Get away from all of it. Hey, one thing you want to do is be sure and go to our website, hitthatline.com. Check out our Valentine's getaway. Everybody in our state that's been here for any amount of time knows about the Arlington and downtown Hot Springs. We're giving away a great trip for Valentine's Day. Go to hitthatline.com. Click on the menu bar. You'll see the tab there for Valentine's getaway. You can register right now. It's brought to you by Richard's Country Meat Market in Fayetteville. Also brought to you by Swift's Jewelers in downtown Fayetteville and by Cupid's in Springdale and in Bentonville. Register today. You can register once a day, every day for our Valentine's Day getaway to the Arlington. We'll announce the winner on Monday, February 13th.
Talk more basketball coming up.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Semaglutide is a weight loss game changer. That's what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas, in-office or telemedicine visits available. So to schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical professionals for safe and effective weight loss while also reducing cardiovascular risk factors, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades, methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You know, you've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose yourself. I choose me over meth.
This message is sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and the Me Over Meth grant.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
Hi folks, Matchmaker Larry Rath here with a sweetheart of a deal from Rath Auto Resources. I'm on a mission to help you find the nicer, newer car of your dreams. So if the thrill is gone with your old ride, come see the best selection of Rath Road Ready vehicles we've had in over 2 years. Each one hand-picked and reconditioned in our Meineke Car Care Center. Just find the one you love the best and let our friendly, non-commissioned solution specialists do the rest. With discounts up to $4,100 below retail and the highest trade-in values ever, you'll be head over heels for the deals too. Gonna make it work with the car you have? Let us give it the attention it deserves in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires. But hurry, this deal will be over quicker than your first crush. Start driving better today in a nicer, newer car you love from Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? Oh, no way, dude. Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, dry weather across the north, still looking at freezing rain. Across the south, we may see trace amounts of additional accumulations. Our high temperatures today into the low to mid 30s. Now, freezing drizzle, freezing rain, and sleet possible tonight, and overnight low into the upper 20s to low 30s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Walsh with a rebound, 2 seconds, 1 second. Devo's going to dunk it at the horn, and Arkansas wins it by a final of 81-70. Devo cleaned it up there at the end, slammed it home. The Razorbacks have an 81-70 victory. Arkansas has now won 3 straight in Southeastern Conference play, and they looked impressive tonight.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son?
I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
Mama Muss was in attendance last night. Her first game inside of Bud Walton Arena. Now, she attended the Baylor-Arkansas game in Waco, but cool for Eric Musselman's mom to get a chance to see this team at home and to get a win last night. I know must have been special for him, special for Mikkel and Makai Mitchell, their birthday yesterday. We're going to talk more about this win coming up on the Morning Rush.
That Mama Muss stuck her head out the door yesterday, said, "Get me back to San Diego." Yeah. What is all this sleet that I'm seeing falling in the sky? Get me out of here. Hey, we're brought to you by Matchstick Studios. If your business needs a great-looking website or help with your current website, rehabbing, making it look more modern, Matchstick Studios can write, design, create, secure, host, everything you need with your website for $95 a month. I know that's too good to be true. It's got to be more expensive than that. What's the catch? There is no catch. There's no upfront cost. There's no extra check to write. You pay them $95 a month, and they take care of your website. And it's a great-looking website. All the pages you need, all the features you need. Go to modularorange.com, see what I'm talking about. That's modularorange.com. Or call Jordan and his team at 479-755-3043. That's modularorange.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Mach 1 Financial. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor located in Bentonville, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
Chuck, I know Coach Musselman after the game was talking about didn't know what the crowd was going to be like again, and he was kind of worried that his mom wouldn't get to see Bold Walton at full strength. But you had the most students ever in the Eric Musselman era, and you really had another good crowd last night like you did for LSU a week or so ago.
Yeah, I think it was around 10,000, in terms of the total people there. I was really surprised last night. I was not surprised at the LSU attendance because it was more snow than ice. But it is amazing how we adapt. I mean, we can adapt pretty quickly. And again, for those of us who've been around for a while, I mean, we've spent our whole lives driving on snow and ice. I mean, we've done it before, and sometimes you get to thinking that every winter storm's going to be the biggest one ever. But, I was impressed, and they came ready to go. I looked around the arena at about, I would say 5:15. Now, how many people are in the building at 5:15 is not always indicative of what the crowd's going to be like. But when it's icy outside, I looked around, and there were a decent number of people, comparatively speaking. And I thought, I told one of the ushers, I said that there's always more than we think there's going to be. There's always more than you think there's going to be. And there was again last night.
How many fans do you think said they couldn't get to work yesterday and yet drove to Bud Walton Arena last night?
Well, I don't know. Maybe more than one.
I would definitely say more than one. And
the students were lined up. And there was a lot of foot traffic, just generally speaking, around the arena for the weather to be like it was.
Just think about the operational aspects of that and trying to clear the sidewalks and try to make it safe because they didn't run shuttles. They had limited services. Just trying to safely get people, not just your team and personnel, but game day operations, fans, TV crew, everybody to the arena. I mean, there was a lot of work done just to get people on foot in the door.
Hey, it's amazing what goes on when the weather hits. I mean, from the road crews to, people sweeping the sidewalks. I mean, a lot of us hunker down, but a lot of people go to work. And, I mean, it's real work, too. I mean, they're out there. When's the last time you shoveled off a driveway? Man, that's work. And they make sure all that stuff happens, and we keep moving. And so a lot of people deserve a lot of credit for a lot of things over the last 24, 48
Well, I mean,
hours.
if it's been a while for you, Chuck, there's still some left here at the station. I can find you a shovel. Come on.
I'm afraid it might be my last act. I mean, I think about all these people shoveling off their driveway and they drop dead. I don't want to be that guy.
No, I don't either.
Guys, Texas A&M has one win in Fayetteville in almost 40 years. And I know they played some good Arkansas teams, and I was on the Texas A&M message boards. There weren't none of their fans thought they were going to win last night heading into the game. Why do you think they've had such struggles in Fayetteville?
Because Arkansas has been better, generally speaking. I mean, over the years, particularly in the Southwest Conference days, I mean, Arkansas was always the better program. You could even go back pre-Eddie Sutton. Texas A&M, I'm sure, had some good years, but Arkansas all-time is 61-15 against Texas A&M in Fayetteville. 61-15 all-time in Fayetteville. And now they almost, it was overtime. I mean, Arkansas jumped out 2 years ago. It's 20-4. A&M came back, forced overtime, and Arkansas barely won the game. But, yeah, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, for whatever reason, A&M has over the years struggled to win in Fayetteville.
Yeah, and that's what because A&M's not, I don't believe, going to be a traditional power. That's a game that you can't let slip away. You feel like you let one get by you, I think, if you let A&M beat you at home. And they're better this year, but that feels like a game you need to win 9 out of 10 times, and that's pretty much what they've done over the last 40 years.
Well, the one thing that should be pointed out, though, since Texas A&M came into the SEC, which is really what matters now, it's flip-flop down there. I mean, Arkansas is 2-7 down there. So it's been tough for the Razorbacks to go to College Station and get wins. And they're going to have to go down there. And somewhere along the way, you gotta beat somebody away from home. And
somebody good, not South Carolina. You got to beat them, but
yeah, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, and I say you've gotta. I mean, it'd be nice if they would. Let me put it that way. If you want to, obviously you win games like that, the higher your seed is. I think, they could still win their home games and continue to battle on the road, and I still think they'd get in. But at any rate, I mean, I think that, those are some things we're going to see going forward.
Muss had a unique approach to this game, stressing the importance of it and leading up to it. Here's what he had to say after the game.
We had to. I mean, that's why we've been calling them Super Bowls. I mean, we put some pressure on our team the last 48 hours about the importance of this particular game, and knowing that they're coming in here 7-1, and knowing that when they walked in tonight, I mean, we had signs all over it of different messages about the importance and the meaning of this particular game, because we know we have really difficult road games coming up.
I really appreciated the 17 points you got off the bench, 12 from Jordan Walsh, 5 from Jalen Graham. I know Jalen struggled at the line in Waco, hit 1 of 2, I think, last night. But if you can get 17 points from your bench, only bringing 2 guys, and really, like you said, Chuck, Jalen didn't play in the second half, I think you'd take that every day of the week.
Well, you can live off what Jordan Walsh did last night a long time. I mean, regardless of how deep you go into the bench, if you've got a guy that can, as a starter or as a guy coming off the bench, I thought his performance was top shelf last night on both ends of the floor, and they need him to be like that. They don't need him to be a first-team All-American. Get 12-7 like you did last night. Play the heck out of some defense. You do that, and this team will be pretty good.
And according to Muss in the postgame, Jordan was kind of playing for AB in practice leading up to this, thinking he was going to start, and because AB is dealing with the knee contusion that he suffered in that Baylor game, AB ends up getting the therapy and not the procedure, but stuff ready to go. Jordan comes off the bench and plays the best he has, at least in SEC play all year.
Well, and, now you got to keep doing it. That's the challenge. I mean, you got to do it again and again and again. And if they're able to get good – and, look, you're not going to be perfect every night, and I'm not suggesting that. But, there's got to be some consistency developed among all those guys. You don't have to have somebody score 25 necessarily to win. I mean, it's nice when you do. But, hey, I'd take 12-7 out of Jordan Walsh every night of the week.
So you're 9 games into your 18-game SEC schedule, 4-5 through the first half. Got 4 home games, 5 road games, including this Saturday at South Carolina. Where do we think they're at midterm? I mean, are they ahead of schedule in what we thought? Behind? Knowing where we were evaluating things, say at Christmas, knowing the injuries at that point.
Well, I think, we've had different evaluations. I think in November, if you'd said this team's going to be 4-5 at the halfway mark, people have said no. They're going to be a whole lot better than that. Then after, what happened. I think clearly expectations needed to change, and they did. And, they're 4-5, and they've shown some real signs of life, I think, over the last month. And as I said earlier, I think if they improve in February as much as they did in January, I think they'll be ready to go in March. It'd be nice if you get Nick Smith back, and I know that's the never-ending story for a lot of people, and maybe they will. But if they don't, I still think they're coming together. I think they're finding their identity. I think they're, and as we discussed at the very first of this month, this is going to be a month-long process of trying to find out who you are, rediscovering who you are offensively, rediscovering who you are defensively. You don't do that during the course of the season because you don't have a week or two to spend on the practice floor. I mean, you got to retool it while you're playing, and that's a process, and it's painful to watch sometimes. And it's not over. I mean, it's not the finished product. But I think they're making progress, and they've never stopped playing hard. And, the guys that are playing right now, there's not any of them out there you look at and say, man, he's dogging it here and there. You just don't see that. So that gives them a chance.
You referenced Nick Smith. We hadn't talked about that yet. He was on Twitter
Sorry I brought it up.
Nah, he was, but I think it's important because people are wondering. He was on Twitter, and he talked about the fact that you think that I came back to school not to play. It's kind of what he said. And, I mean, that makes sense, right? Why would you re-enroll if you have no desire to play at any point this season the rest of the way? From a logical standpoint, there's some validity to that, right?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of things that have been tweeted and talked about and analyzed and reanalyzed for the last 2 or 3 months, and I put about as much stock into that as I put into all the others. And, we'll see what happens. I hope he plays. I mean, I really do. But if he doesn't, life will go on.
I think what people are starting to realize is this team is still a tournament team without him. Now, I don't think there's any doubt that they would be better with his addition. Now, they're going to have to kind of tinker and figure that rotation out if and when he comes back. But, guys, they have enough on this team to, I don't know if it's a second weekend team, but they can at least make the NCAA tournament what they have right now.
Well, I mean,
they'll make the tournament.
Yeah, if you win Saturday, you get to 5-5. If you win your 4 remaining home games, and there's no guarantees there, that gets you to 9-9, right? I mean, I think 9-9 with a net ranking somewhere in the 20s or 30s. They moved up 1 spot after the win last night. You just can't have devastating losses like to South Carolina, teams that are way outside the top 200. I mean, you got to take care of quad 1 or quad 3 and 4 upper games, and then hopefully get half or more of your quad 1 and 2s that are left. It'd be nice to win on the road at Tuscaloosa or Knoxville or Lexington or College Station, but I don't think that's required to get you to the tournament. I think you take care of home games and this Saturday's road game. That may be enough to get you in.
You just listed 4. What's the most likely? Is it to continue on this SEC run and let's forget South Carolina. Let's say you win on Saturday. You got 4 straight wins. Is it easier to do it in Lexington, Knoxville, College Station, or Tuscaloosa?
Chuck just mentioned you were 2-7 in College Station. So that hadn't been a place even against lesser A&M teams. They're a much better program this year, it appears. So I don't know that College Station is necessarily the easy answer. Knoxville doesn't seem like it. Alabama last night beat poor old Vanderbilt by 57, and I'm not exaggerating. They beat them 57 last night.
Know.
I mean, so I don't know. I mean, I hate to say Lexington's the place you can win, but that might actually be of that collection of teams on the road, Chuck. That might be the place that might be the most likely win.
Well, sometimes you just don't know, and I'll give you an example. You mentioned Vanderbilt and Alabama last night. You think Alabama wins by 57 if they don't lose at Oklahoma? No.
Nope.
Absolutely not. And my point is that, you just don't know what's going to develop before a particular game. I mean, and every game's different. Look, they're all going to be tough. Every single one of them is going to be tough. Can you come up with a scenario by which they would win at every place? Yes. Can you come up with a scenario by which they'd lose at all of them? Yes. So, I mean, it's, you're going to have to go out there and try to steal one somewhere. And the first thing you better do is beat South Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, if you lose at South Carolina, there's not going to be much luster on that game Tuesday night. And so this team is, we said earlier, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but they're not good enough to look past anybody right now. They're just not. And so you sure don't want to be the one that loses at South Carolina. You don't want to be the one. So you better focus in on that one. And if you win, man, you're feeling good, and you go to Lexington and you feel like you got a chance to win.
Yeah, it should be hopefully get some rhythm and some momentum. I like the kind of the rhythm of the schedule when you look at it. South Carolina, a game you should be favored in. Then you go to Kentucky, a game that's going to be more difficult, back home for Mississippi State, on the road to A&M, back home for Florida. So I like the kind of the ebb and the flow of the next couple of weeks.
Well, they've been able to take advantage of what they've had right here. And, they had 3 straight home games, and they won them all. And, again, there's so many variables that come into play. Who's nicked up, what they do in their last game. There's just lots of things that come into play. And, this team right now, there's not any of those games, home or road, that I look at and I say, they got no chance. No chance. But there are very few games on the rest of the schedule where I look at and say, man, that's a guarantee. That's a layup. In fact, I'm not sure I can find one, to be perfectly honest with you. So, I just think right now in our conference, when you look at there's a couple of teams up there right now that have been consistently good. Everybody else just kind of grinds. Everybody else just kind of grinds. They have their moments, but they also, at the end of the day, are really grinded out kind of teams. And we're in that group. And sometime over the month of February, there's going to be a team or two that emerges out of that group. And, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. You don't play back-to-back road games till the end of the month where you go to Alabama and Tennessee on a Saturday and Tuesday, but you're road, home. So you got to avoid the 0-2 weeks. You feel like if at least you're playing one of the two games every week at home, you got a good shot of not doing that. So not going 0-2 in the same week is important.
No, you don't want to go 0-2. Those are bad weeks. And if you're going to go 1-1, win the game on Saturday because everybody's in a good mood going into the new week.
Yeah. So this Saturday at South Carolina, that ought to be. You just look at it. They're an 8-14 team. That should be your best road opportunity of the conference season. So got to win this one this week at South Carolina. There's must wins, and Chuck, then there's can't lose. And this is a game you just can't lose.
Well, you need to go over there and win. There's no doubt about that. And certainly South Carolina's it's amazing. You look at some of the spreads, and they've been worse on their home floor than they've been on the road. Hey, let's talk about money for just a second. Retirement accounts specifically. There are some major rule changes that are taking effect in the new year for anyone with a retirement account. And if you follow the Mach 1 Market Moment podcast, first off, I know you've been better informed about what's going on with your money, but you've also heard local financial professionals discuss what these changes are going to mean for you. And these are big changes. You can go to Mach1FG.com. That's MACH, the number 1, FG.com to find out more. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor. They're located in Bentonville, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit Mach1Financial.com/disclosures.
Let's talk to Ryan, who's in Hot Springs. Ryan, you got about a minute and a half. Go ahead this morning, man.
Hey, bud. Good morning. Boy, it feels good to have that win over A&M last night. I was watching some of that game. And I got to thinking, I don't know why I didn't come up with this sooner, but Devo, I was telling the guy that does the phone call screen, I got kind of a nickname for Devo because some of the passes he was making were really good last night and some of them not so good. And some of them were really good intended. They just didn't hit the mark. Well, anyway, I was like, I even tweeted about it. I said, he kind of reminds me of an old gunslinging quarterback because some of them are going to be real pretty and some of them are going to be, trying to force it in there. It's a little head scratching.
He does that sometimes, yeah. He and look, a lot of them do. They, and you're right about some of them. Man, they're so close. They're so close to being spectacular, but boy, it's got to be perfect on some of them.
Like the Black pass last night, he was intending for Black to get there a little quicker than he did, or Black was a little. I'm back up. He was a little slow getting there, and it wound up going out of bounds. But I was like, man, if it hit the mark, that'd have been a nice slam dunk for us. But, I played against Waco. I think even in that loss, I think on the road, I think we got a little more confident. I think I like our chances a little more against A&M on the road and against Kentucky.
Ryan, appreciate the call. We're running up against it. Yeah, I think this team, you just got to get one. You got to get one on the road. Even at South Carolina, you've got to get that first one. You're 0-5 on the road at this point. Get that one, and it'll hopefully open up a little bit for you.
Yeah. And when we'll have a chance Saturday, and we'll have the game for you with Chuck and Z right here on ESPN Arkansas. All of us are getting cabin fever. We need a good meal. We need to get out, and Sassy's is the place to go. And they've been around for more than 13 years. And whether it's the original location, the original Red House on College, or the location just off the Weddington exit on Steamboat, they're going to be there for you, whether it's their great barbecue, catfish, burgers, and more. Always a great place to watch the game. They have TVs all around the restaurant, so on game day, always make it Sassy's. Sassy's, 2 locations in Fayetteville. Eat, drink, and be sassy.
I want to hear a story. Alan was courtside last night, owner of Sassy's, and his son left him. He got a courtside seat for his son, and his son went to go sit with his friends. Come on, man. Got to help him out with that. Got to help Dad out with that. All right, more of the Morning Rush coming up when we come back.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
Ty, fortunately, has saved the world and not yet procreated.
You're listening to the Morning Rush.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I'm going to be honest with you. I wondered how gritty and tough this team was going to be. You got McDonald's All-Americans out there. You don't have a lot of what you would normally categorize as tough kids. But I think that as we've gotten through this month, this is the only way they have a chance to win, is to play that gritty style.
I want to talk some football coming up. The Big 12 announced its 2023 schedule yesterday and kind of how that ties in with the SEC with the additions of Texas and Oklahoma coming up.
Hey, if you're looking for a great place to take your kids or anyone in your family or yourself for the dentist, Riley Farm Dental at 5901 Riley Park Drive in South Fort Smith is the place. They do everything. That's one of the things about Riley Farm Dental that you're going to love for your entire family. General dentistry, braces, implants, cosmetics. It's all in one stop. Doctors Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give their patients better lives with a better smile and more confident and more comfortable because you're not having to go to 2 or 3 different offices to get the various procedures you and your family may need. That's Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
You got the additions of UCF, Houston, BYU, and Cincinnati. Brett Norsworthy was telling me he thinks that the SEC is going to release the schedule stuff sooner than later based on what he's been told. Guys, based on looking at this schedule and based on what we know about the Southeastern Conference, are we going to see something soon? Are these tied in whatsoever together, these schedules, you think?
Well, they may feel the urge to, put it out a little bit sooner now. I guess there's that pressure, sometimes to, be among the first out there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're going to get all this worked out, and Texas and Oklahoma are going to come in sooner rather than later. I don't know that, I don't know that the SEC should necessarily make it a point. We got to counter what they're doing with, Houston and Cincinnati and BYU. I mean, I wouldn't think they'd overly respond to that.
Didn't know if this would expedite the process at all, Tommy.
I was reading a few columns from the Oklahoman and a few other places that, I don't know if it's just opinion or they had some insight, but felt like there was some negotiating going on with Texas and OU and the Big 12 and trying to negotiate an early exit. And that was the delay in the Big 12's release of this schedule. And that makes sense. Those are easy dots to connect. But I fully expect, one way or another, even though it's not official yet, this will be in 23 the final season for OU and Texas in the Big 12. And I think they'll join the SEC a year early. And somehow between TV and the schools and the leagues, Chuck, they'll figure it all out.
They will, and I don't know what the solution's going to be. I don't know exactly how they're going to work it out.
Money.
Well, yeah, obviously money's going to change hands, but I've never thought it would be 2025, and I don't think that today.
But a lot of people thought it would have been maybe even as soon as last year or maybe this year. And you got a lot of things that, and the SEC still got to figure out and settle, and maybe they have on this 3 permanent opponents and the rotating schedule. That has been a trial balloon, at least, that's been out there a while. If everybody settles in on that, then you can create the process of a formula. Generally, the SEC, in years past, has always had their schedule out midway through the season, somewhere in October. So that'd be one thing to watch and see if they have the 24 schedule out somewhere in that same time frame.
Speaking of football, big news of the day, Tom Brady retiring officially this morning. I know for a lot of people, they were wondering if this was going to come about. There was speculation that he would go to another team. Guys, how do you think this changes the GMs and owners of the league who had maybe thought that they would be able to sway Tom Brady to come play for them? How does that change their thought process?
Well, I don't know that their thought process didn't change his thought process. And by that I mean I don't know that there were teams out there that were going to commit to Tom Brady as their starting quarterback. That would be my immediate take on this. I mean, you're not signing Tom Brady from even 2 years ago if you pick him up. I mean, I heard a lot of speculation yesterday about, would the 49ers try to sign Tom Brady? And it's like, are you kidding me? The guy was as good as there ever was. I mean, he's the GOAT, but runs up. And so I'm glad he's going out now without playing another year.
Father Time, undefeated, untied, always wins.
Hey, and let me tell you something. He battled that as well as any professional athlete ever has. But, yeah, I mean, at some point it just ends.
Yeah. I mean, if you would eat more wheatgrass, you could look 20 years younger.
He was doing it for 10 years after most guys are washed up.
When's the last time you had a good kale smoothie, Chuck?
Well, it's been a while. That's too long.
What it would do to illuminate your skin would be incredible.
Well, I think about that, but not for very long.
You might even grow some hair.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I admire the discipline because I just have trouble walking by a bag of Doritos, much less eating all the things and doing what Tom Brady has done, and he's done that in his adult life. This isn't something he was raised and did from childhood or through his teenage or college years. This was a adult decision he made, and I think it's been as big a part of his longevity as anything.
Well, and he's done it at a time when professional athletes are set financially at a very young age. There's not the financial incentive to do it. You look at the great ones. I mean, Brady's certainly one of them. And, you think about, Tiger Woods in golf, pre-accident. I mean, the great ones are driven in a way that we just can't understand.
Wired different. Hey, do you need an attorney? Hickey & Hull Law Partners is your firm. Kevin Hickey and Brad Hull, they understand the importance of client communication, meeting with you, keeping those meetings, responding to emails, returning calls, returning text. Hickey & Hull are the attorneys that you can trust to guide you through a divorce or a custody case, even criminal charges or civil lawsuits. And they've got over 7 decades of combined experience. With that, they're ready to put that experience to work for you and get you the best results. Get your consultation set up today. Go to kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call at any of their locations. That's kevinhickeylaw.com. Things are about to get better with the Hickey & Hull Law Partners.
When we return, we're going to get into our SEC update. Plus, I want to tell you all about this crazy story where a 22-year-old played a JV basketball game.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
This is former Coach Houston Nutt, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
You bet it is, Joe, which means Bet Saracen has everything you're looking for and more right there on your cell phone.
Now everyone can get in the game and follow your favorite team.
And that's right on the money. If putting down a little wager makes your favorite game a little more exciting, we'll go to the app stores and download Bet Saracen. We even got a demo video to show you how to play.
Or find it at betsaracen.com.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place, the Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades, methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You know, you've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose yourself. I choose me over meth.
This message is sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and the Me Over Meth grant.
Have a loan with a variable or balloon interest rate and worried about your cost rising? Interest rates are rising and you may have a problem. Farm Credit can fix that. Talk to Farm Credit about locking in a long-term fixed rate for the life of your loan. Farm Credit's long-term fixed rates offer peace of mind in changing economic times. We're offering the longest terms in the ag industry. Talk to Farm Credit today. Find an office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Hi folks, Matchmaker Larry Rath here with a sweetheart of a deal from Rath Auto Resources. I'm on a mission to help you find the nicer, newer car of your dreams. So if the thrill is gone with your old ride, come see the best selection of Rath Road Ready vehicles we've had in over 2 years. Each one hand-picked and reconditioned in our Meineke Car Care Center. Just find the one you love the best and let our friendly, non-commissioned solution specialists do the rest. With discounts up to $4,100 below retail and the highest trade-in values ever, you'll be head over heels for the deals too. Going to make it work with the car you have? Let us give it the attention it deserves in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires. But hurry, this deal will be over quicker than your first crush. Start driving better today in a nicer, newer car you love from Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Doe's Eat Place, serving award-winning steaks, has now added lobster tail and salmon to the menu. You can also enjoy delicious appetizers along with your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Doe's Eat Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Call 784-9111. That's 784-9111. Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Ashley Air. Keeping your home comfortable is what they do best. Trust them with your heating and cooling needs. Go to AshleyAir.com to request service today.
We mentioned the Alabama score earlier in the program. The Alabama Crimson Tide basketball team apparently got the message from Nate Oates after their brutal loss in Oklahoma. They beat Vanderbilt 101-44 last night. That's an NBA score, at least on the Bama side, but Tommy Vanderbilt only gets 44 points last night.
You don't see many NBA games where one team scores 44, but you're right, the 101 is. But, I mean, Vanderbilt, that may take a day or two to get over right there. That's a pretty good beatdown. It was just the wrong time to catch Alabama after struggling with Mississippi State, getting boat raced at Oklahoma. They were going to take it out on somebody, and poor old Vanderbilt caught the brunt of it.
Mississippi State took it out on South Carolina yesterday with the 66-51 victory, and then Kentucky went to Ole Miss and beat Ole Miss 75-66. Ole Miss without Deshaun Ruffin, who is stepping away from the team right now to get healthy physically and mentally, in addition to their, I think it's Matthew Morrell is their other guard's name that was their leading scorer that got injured in the Arkansas game. Speaking of injuries, John Calipari said that Cason Wallace was injured in shoot-around, had a contusion, according to Coach Cal. So that's something to monitor as Arkansas plays Kentucky next week in his status. He's one of their better players, and we'll see what ends up happening with that. These are the games tonight. We have Georgia at Auburn, Tennessee at Florida, and then LSU at Missouri. I'm curious to see what happens in Gainesville. Tennessee now number 2 in the country.
Yeah, that's the bigger game of the night. I heard Jimmy Dykes talking about that. I guess he's flying down to do that game this morning, or flew down this morning to do that game tonight. And that's it'll be interesting to see if Florida and Arkansas's got Florida coming up at home in a couple of weeks. I think it's Saturday the 18th. So it'll be a good time to watch them. Tennessee, I heard Jimmy say this last night, probably the most trustworthy team right now in the SEC. Now, Alabama may get back on some people's shelf like that. I've still got Alabama as the best team in the league till they lose an SEC game. It's hard to downgrade them, but that game with them and Tennessee coming up this month is going to be a dandy.
You think about Bama's, they have more talent, but Tennessee has Vescovi, been in the league forever. Zakai Ziegler, been in the league forever. Plavsic, who's been in the league forever. I mean, they've got guys that have been around the block, and that's how Barnes usually does it. He has one blue chip, maybe two, that he brings in a recruiting class, but then he kind of meshes them together with guys that have been on his team a while, and this team is no different. Now, we know the tagline for Rick Barnes is regular season Rick, so at some point, folks in Knoxville want this to translate to not just regular season success, but postseason success. Maybe this team is the one that makes it past the Sweet 16.
Well, exactly. I mean, what do they need to do? Do they need a team of sports psychologists? This is a problem that haunts regular season Rick, as he's called. So let's see if this is the year they can get over the hump, if they got the right formula. They have seemed to have it. I remember that kind of fiery locker room speech he gave his team about getting all the way, and obviously it didn't happen. So we'll see if Tennessee's got what it takes to not just get to a Final Four, but win a national championship.
A lot of times Marty Smith is at one of these SEC venues, as he was last night in Bud Walton Arena. I know him and Boss Hogg had a bit of a spat, but apparently all is good.
They threw confetti in the air to stand in for the coffee that went flying everywhere last week, as you see here. And I gave Boss Hogg a very big hug. And this mug that they gave me is wonderful. I don't know a whole lot, but I bet old Sam Pittman's watching this Hogs ball game right now. Coach, I think this would hold one of them old cold beers just fine. I'm coming to your house after the game, buddy.
Coach could have been watching the game. I'd guess he's probably doing National Signing Days duties leading up to last night, probably still recruiting leading up to this morning, the next couple of days. But apparently this feud and the spat between Boss Hogg and Marty Smith is now resolved.
Yeah, it was like Ali Frazier, wasn't it?
It was one of the most gruesome things that we've ever seen in the history of sports. Now, you brought up a good question earlier on the subject of Muhammad Ali. You've got Ali, Jordan, Brady, and who was the other athlete you mentioned?
Why'd you ask me? I was reading Jason Whitlock's post. It was Ali, Jordan, Brady, and no, it wasn't Tiger Woods, but
Jack Nicklaus.
Nope, wasn't in golf. But anyway, who's had the better career in the last 50 years? Let me go back and find. It wasn't my question. It's Jason Whitlock's, but that is a
Gretzky. Gretzky was the other one.
It was hockey. No wonder I forgot. But who had the better career out of those 50, or out of those four in the last 50 years? I said Muhammad Ali. I think he is clearly more popular, more of an international icon. He passed away, it's been less than 10 years, but I think Muhammad Ali is still the biggest star there's ever been in sports. And I know Tom Brady's won 7 rings, but and really I'm almost too young to really fully grasp and understand the impact Muhammad Ali had, but he was a global icon before we even knew what that term really meant.
Think about the impact. Y'all are going to have to help me on the war, but it was him, at the time, I think it was Lou Alcindor. Maybe it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And then what it was, Jim Brown? That the running, the three guys that stood up, and again, the origin of that story is.
But none of those guys touched Muhammad Ali's fame. And listen, Howard Cosell had a lot to do with Muhammad Ali having the opportunity to get on the stage and to talk. I mean, he was the first big trash talker that went in today's terms viral. I mean,
Cosell do boxing too?
He did everything back then. Cosell and Ali were attached at the hip, more or less. I mean, and Cosell was, I don't say as big a star as Ali, but he might have been the second biggest star in sports back in the 70s. So he had a lot to do with propelling the fame of Muhammad Ali, who was certainly willing to talk. So I think Muhammad Ali is bigger than Jordan or bigger than Brady. I would put him Muhammad Ali 1, Jordan 2 as far as impact. And then, I mean, probably Wayne Gretzky because of the, and then you said, well, how do you put Brady 4 in there? But I think you're in an era where quarterbacks got a lot of protection by rules. There's
the Brady rule.
Yeah, there's a lot of differences in the sport today versus back then. That's kind of how I'd put him on the impact and the career and the whole ball of wax.
Yeah, I think about
and it goes beyond rings and championships with me. What did you do to change the sport? What did you do to change the world? And I don't think Tom Brady changed the world of the sport the way Jordan did in basketball. Ali did for the entire landscape in many ways, not just boxing, but sports in general. And I don't know enough about hockey to say much, but Wayne Gretzky's a household name, and that sport's more truly international.
It's landlocked here, I would say, and I guess Canada.
And it's just not even it's not even a top 3 sport here. We had no baseball guys in any of that. Tiger Woods would probably be the next one in that conversation ahead of anyone I can think of in baseball that you would even think about including. Baseball's not had anyone near that star level of any of those 4 or 5 guys. If you throw Woods in the conversation, since when? Who would be the last star of any magnitude like that in baseball?
That's a better question for Chuck or Phil.
Yeah.
I mean, is Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth? That's a better question.
Babe Ruth, we're going back nearly 100 years now. Hank Aaron would be a good name.
Hammer and Hank.
We still the names DiMaggio and Mantle are still coming up, but those were the guys playing when my dad was a kid. There's just not the stars the way, and I think a lot of it's because of so much media out there. We got 300 channels on our television guide. We got everything at our fingertips on our phone. It's just everything is so fragmented now. It is impossible to reach the level of household fame and importance the way these guys did when you had literally 4 or 5 channels maybe on your TV back then.
Yeah, and on that subject, I don't think
Derek Jeter might be the one. Hogfin and Alma says Jeter. That'd be as close as we've had in 50 years.
Yeah, I think 4 championships with the New York Yankees, if I remember that right.
And listen, steroids and PEDs and all of that. I mean, listen, baseball, when McGuire and Sosa were going at it in that summer run for the home run deal and Bonds, that was as big a story as we've seen in the last 25 or 30 years, but it's all tainted now.
It's tarnished, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, baseball can't even get in this conversation for me.
I have a skewed view on this because I wasn't around when Ali was big. Jordan,
I'm almost too young for that, too.
Yeah, football is not as much a global sport as basketball, in my opinion. So I would say Jordan is ahead of Brady, not just because of the championships, but I think the only 2 comparisons you can have is Ali and Jordan. And based on some of the examples you gave, it'd be hard to see. But I will say this, when Jordan and company went to Barcelona in '92, that changed I don't think we realized how popular Michael Jordan was until they went overseas and everything involved with that. Not that Charles Barkley and the Dream Team overall wasn't popular, but that really changed, I think, our vantage point of how popular of a guy Michael Jordan was globally.
I think that's why he's clearly number 2 in that conversation. Another one that, as far as changing the sport, global icon, all of that, and you're probably not even old enough for this to really understand his heyday, would be Mike Tyson. And I know there's a lot of stuff that goes along with Mike Tyson, but when he was in the late 80s and the 90s, and he was destroying people in like the first 35 seconds of round 1, man, I remember how big a deal it was when Buster Douglas what was that, in Japan, finally beat him. It was like the biggest story. I mean, it was the biggest story in the world. So Mike Tyson would be somewhere on the second list in that conversation, too.
I'd say the phrases that are synonymous with those two. I don't have one for Brady. Maybe there's one for Gretzky, but it's Republicans buy sneakers too for MJ, and then for Tyson, it's fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yeah.
I think about that. I mean, those are synonymous with those guys.
Muhammad Ali. Hey, when you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. That's Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning, plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. You got clogged drains or leaky faucets, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service today. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Played a little JV ball back in the day. Not when I was 22. Like this 22-year-old assistant is accused of posing of a teenage girl who I guess was out of town at Churchland High School, and Arlisha Boykins pretended to be her at a game earlier in January, and now that girl is transferring from the school. The rest of the team's games for the junior varsity squad have been canceled.
That is not a way to get a raise with your administration.
No, I don't know how they didn't notice that from the jump. I mean, you ref games, it would be pretty obvious to see a 22-year-old gal relative to a 13-year-old, right? That would be quick to...
Never ask a woman's age, Ty.
That is, okay, I guess there's some logic to that, but I thought that was a crazy story. I don't know where that school is, but I guess they're not playing JV games the rest of the season. Goodness gracious. The people...
The world's probably a better place for it, to be honest.
I guess.
If that thought or that option was even on the table, the world's probably just better off that they don't play, to be honest.
All right, Greeny coming up. I'm sure he'll have plenty of reaction to Tom Brady retiring. Then you'll hear from Phil Elson and the boys on halftime, and then Ruskin and Zach later on. For Tommy Kraft, for Chuck Barrett, Christian Johnson, I'm Ty Richardson. Be safe out there today on the roads all over Arkansas. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician,